Primordial Sessions Volume 1. For the record. Open your eye in alignment with time and you'll see the truth like it's a physical thing. From the darkness I arise, so it's not a surprise when you learn of the light that I bring. As above, so below, I find a rhythm and flow as I grow with the pendulum swing. This is the matrix where everyone's faking they sleep here in life while we wake up in dreams. Shedding the skin like a serpent, this work makes it worth it. Attaining a purpose while searching internal, examine what all is in me. Most will not make it there, so can I take it? Reality shaking, you've seen what I've seen. Reap what you sow, we're the weavers of speech, achievers, and this is the read 'em and weed 'em. You cannot read in vibrations that none of them speak. Walk a metal netter, light is feather is heavy. To learn that your will isn't free, that you're willing. I continue to lead with my evils. I'm sweeping my consciousness clean. Training in realms that are unseen. My aura is some set fire to all of the fiends. Stand on my eye, this is all seeing. I we supply 93, that means we are supreme. Healing through tones on my senses, connecting in this year. Wealthy is health, this is green. This is illusion, reality veiled in delusion. Thoughts become intrusive, it's foolish to not know by now that it ain't what it seems. This is way more than belief. I see clearly the lies. My six senses of sight that are hypnotized. No wonder everyone sleeps. Open your eyes. It's time to set off the alarms. The performance self-harm. Don't you know you're a star? God in human form and you rise with the beast. More than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper. Seeing the state of the planet, the damage, the famines expanding beyond your belief. I see they landed, they've handed the people a cannon and aiming it right at your feet. Blowing the hole where you're standing, creating the panic. The tactical planning is deep. Teaching you only a man and that God is in heaven, the seventh outside of your reach. If you're the question, they'll call you a manic, frantic, erratic, depression, demonic. When you're teaching through the magical speech, they'll call you serpent, the one in the garden. Pardon my knowledge for having the knowledge and prowess to see. He really told the truth to Adam and Eve. You'll have distinction between good and evil if you eat of the fruit of the tree. Now you're a god, open your eye, cleansing yourself so that now you can see. They stole the stories and twisted them like it's a spliff. They put the fire to leaf, I put the fire to speech. I put the fire to heat. We don't do liars and thieves, they just desire to greed. This is my record to keep, this is my throne. You cannot sit in my seat. And I command it, I give more than 10 commandments. This is the law of attraction, and we have infinite stamina. My stage is where I'm standing. This is my eye, God is in me. I only keep goddesses with me. They are the magical beings, they are the holy ones. Birthing the gods, we're overcoming the odds. We are the even and odd, they're in the odds, we're in the all. Ancestors answer my prayers, forever grateful. I will forever say thank you. Inspiration to awake the sleepers. Record keeper, more than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper, more than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in demand. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in demand. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper.
May Ra grant you and your family health and prosperity. May your monument be established on the foundations of Ma'at, and may you rise and come forth as conscious light, like the divine Ra, who rise and shine forevermore, Ma'at. Hotep.
I look outside and all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. Look outside and all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. I am him, king, crown, rings, Nesu, I am in mindset of when fighting jinns, sword swang, samurai, I am Shem, Su, Hor, son of Heheru, I am him, king, crown, rings, Nesu, I am in mindset of when fighting jinns, sword swang, samurai, I am Shem, Su, Hor, son of Heheru, words powerful, Hekau, see, prove, you can feel the roots, gone, just look up, I am proof. Breaking doors down, make some room. But I is now speaking through me and trust me.
Hotep, mic check, peace and love. Welcome to the House of Aten. Ancient Tahuti and Teachings on the Teru presents Primordial Conversations with NUK PU NUK PU. Before I introduce the great brothers on the panel, we will begin as we do every week with our Nefer affirmation. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Unki Ema'at, Un N-S, Nintet or Set Ema'at, Min Hepapet Ema'at, Her in Hu Kui, Per Iku. I live for Ma'at. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light. Peace and love, everybody. I am the mighty Atef Rimkim Ma'at, esteemed brethren, as a devoted disciple of the master teacher, Tahuti Amenhotep Ra, I humbly serve as your guide and host within the sacred halls of the House of Aten. Each week we gather here to immerse ourselves in the profound teachings of Ma'at, embarking on a journey of enlightenment. Within this sanctuary, we explore the depths of truth drawn from wisdom, from ancient artifacts, and the profound teachings passed down by the great Tahuti Amenhotep Ra. My commitment extends beyond these gatherings. As a true-hearted devotee, I strive to live and breathe the principles of Ma'at, showing love for my people and resonating with the sacred vibrations of the Medu Neter. I stand as a steadfast guardian of Ma'at, protecting the sacred laws that govern our existence within the House of Aten. Next, we have the mighty scribe Ani Ptah Aten Tahuti, Tatir, Vizier, Overseer of Administration of the House of Aten, Chief Treasurer, Shesh Nasu, Royal Scribe of Tahuti Amenhotep Ra, Sab Scribe of Ra, Sajet E, Reciter of Aku, Effective Words of Conscious Light, One Great of Heka, Excellent of Magic, Technology Architect of Tahuti, Bull of Ma'at, Truly Silent One, Controller of Temper, Most Expert in his calling, Protector of the Natiru, Nab Acker, Lord of Excellence, Son of the Great Unifier, Nu, Holder of the Secrets of the Duat, Smaui Sekni, one skilled in the arts of music and poetry, Kim Neta Tepi in Sheshet, High Priest of Sheshet, Saba in Medu Neter, teacher of the divine language, embodiment of Ptah's writing board at Tahuti's mirror, leader with the heart, Sep, Eve, great of humility, servant of the people. Tahuti manifesting him, Heru manifesting him as Ptah, Neb Ma'at, Lord of truth, Shimsu Natiru, messenger and follower of the Natiru, Ptah Ani Aten Tahuti, a living netta upon earth, who lives in Ma'at, Dujed Usir, life, stability, and wealth. And our presenter for the night, the great primordial thought 9, the Jet Sajim, is a seeker of divine wisdom, the wisdom with universal structure, the wisdom that remains the same from every perspective, the wisdom that adapts to any interaction, the wisdom that creates silence, the wisdom that sustains the house of Aten. Peace and love, everybody. Welcome to Study Guide Sundays.
Hotep, great brothers, Uncle Jas and Neb. Peace and love to everyone here with us live. Be sure to hit the like button if you're here. And for those listening on the playback, hit that like button. The support links are pinned to the top, and they are also in the bio. So please support what you see coming forward if you appreciate, and if you want to see this grow further. So, Tua, Hotep Hinu, great brothers.
Peace, great brother. Good to see you. Good to see you after that phenomenal display of Ma'at and excellence. Hinu the Geb, that was phenomenal. I'm speaking about, if everybody doesn't know, the work that we did on the other platform. My great brother Ani was over there teaching to our great brother for that NEFA class. Great brother, that was phenomenal. And I encourage everybody to go check it out because it's definitely history making. To our Dejad.
Too many buttons.
Too many buttons.
Too many buttons. Yeah, Hotep, peace. What's going on, great brothers? Yeah, you know, Ptah did his thing, man. He never come up short, man. He always making sure he doing his thing, man. So peace and love to you, great Ptah, and all the hard work you do, man. Shouts out to Atef. Definitely, I was on my Atef, doing my Atef work last night, man. When I was up there with Saba, I was like, let's go. We're gonna hold it down. We're gonna make it happen. We here, man. It was an effort class. Definitely learned some great things about the psyops, about peanut allergies and what's really going on. That was an effort class, but yeah, everyone's good, man. Naud's good. We here definitely excited for this presentation. Y'all get to find out the life of NUK PU. So definitely excited for this, man. I'm grateful to be a part of the House of Aten, and man, I'm excited, man. How's everything on your end, Atef?
Everything is NEFA, great brother. Definitely, feeling really good. Definitely looking forward to this new primordial vision. This next step, is definitely inspiring. So, keep on motivating, great brother. Everybody is good over here.
Sounds like I hear Offset speaking some Medu Netter in the back. The frequency is getting a little bit more sharper and clear the more I hear.
Oh yeah, she right over here practicing.
Hotep to the great Offset, and to the great Gabby, and to the Au, as well as Shantae and all the Nefer children of the House of Aten, and the young netters. being raised up. So Tuan Henu, peace and love, everyone here in the chat. Hotep to the great Basa Tup Maka Ox Effect, who puts the support links that are pinned to the top. So Hotep and Henu to you, great brother, one of our great moderators. We have the visionary here with us, Hotep, great brother, Uncle Jasa Neb, Jehuti and Ra. We have Eric G. That's it. Hotep Ma'at to Eric G. That's it. Tanya 23 Experience put 4 flames. NUK PU Nefer Ankh. Peace and love to you, Tanya 23. As I go back and look at some of the chat in the Signetter session, I saw that you were there, definitely supporting. So 2 out 4 supporting in the chat. And then we have the great brother whose name is in the title. You have to be able to come up at the end, great brother, and at least give a few words. So Hotep Natiru Mary Ma'at from NUK PU. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pass it to the great Dejed and allow him to get started on what we're in for. So yeah, that's all the announcements. Pathways to Awakening, you all should know. Go get your tickets, and make sure that you're doing all that you want to make sure that you can make it there. So Tua, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. So yep, that's all my announcements. Atef, if you have anything, now will be the time for that, and then we'll pass it to the great Dejed.
Now, great brother, looking forward to this primordial vision, this next step. So 2 out to you, great brother.
Yes, peace. Hotep, dua to you, great brothers. It's always a pleasure being on the panel with you all. Yeah, without further ado, we'll get to this this new creation, man. Been trying to experience some new things, and only way you become better at something is unless you keep practicing it. So we're gonna make it happen, man. We're gonna let the video speak for itself. Shouts out to NUK PU. Hotep to you, great brother. Dua. This will be part 1. Definitely, it'll be all worth it at the end of the day. But yeah, so Hotep Henu. Yeah, let's get started. Let's just go straight to it. Let's go.
Welcome to the House of Atan, where ancient power meets modern living. Step into the only movement dedicated to the true living existence of the Neteru, the divine forces of ancient Kemet. Rooted in ancestral artifacts and the unfiltered teachings of our spiritual ancestors, House of Atan is more than a store. It's a sacred experience. What we offer: apparel that channels divine energy, home decor inspired by comedic wisdom, travel accessories to move with purpose, ebooks that reveal ancient truths, spiral notebooks for your divine downloads. Imbue yourself with the images of the Neteru. From Ra to Ozit to Haru to Tahuti. Wear them, live them, become them. Return to your roots. Awaken your essence. Walk with the ancestors. Visit houseofatan.com and join the only path guided by the authentic spirit of Kemet.
You can feel the roots gone, just look up, I am proof. Breaking doors down, make some room. Ma'at is now speaking through me, and trust me, this is who you will respect if you choose or not. It is now, not soon. You are not the same as I. We do not have the same sight. We do not have the same eye. We don't just talk, we apply. From the waters in the sky, I spoke my name into life. I spoke my name to bring life, to bring life. Look outside in all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. Look outside and all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature.
Hearing is beneficial to a son who willingly hears. For when what is heard takes root in the hearer, he who has heard will become one worthy himself of being heard. It is good to hear, and it is good to speak, but he who can hear possess what is advantageous. Hearing is beneficial to the hearer. Hearing is better than everything, for through it, good affection comes into being.
All right, peace. Hotep Hanu. We got the great NUK PU in the building right now. Hotep. NUK PU, before we begin, man, let's start with the affirmation, great brother. Set the energy right. Gotta make the energy right. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Unki Ma'at, S, Intet Aset Ma'at, Min Hepapet Ma'at, Her and Hukui, Per Ikut. I live for Ma'at, I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light. Hotep. Yeah, peace, great brother. NUK PU. We got the, hey, he's the pep slayer, destroyer of all Isfet, ruler, king, the Neter in the chat of the House of Aten and the Savatahudi podcast. The great Neter NUK PU, blue light. He stays shining. I don't know how many crowns he got. He got mask crowns, everything. He's set. NUK PU, man. Welcome, brother. Hotep Hanu. Great to have you.
Uncle Justin Nev, Hotep. Honored to be here. Hotep Natu, Mary Ma'at. To you or Sen. It's an honor for me to be here. Much sakem to you for allowing me to be in this energy. To Uncle Justin Nev.
Yeah, Uncle Justin, great brother. Dua to you, man. So tell me, man, who's NUK PU, man? Who was before NUK PU? Let's put it that way. Who did we have before NUK PU? What was the childhood like, man? What was the upbringing? What started this whole process for you, man?
Tua. So for my knowledge seeking environment, like as a child, I was always into praying. My type of prayer was in the form, without me knowing at the time, was like in the form of meditation. Like as a child, I could recall like speaking to what we would call God, and as a young child, which is really talking to myself, to my higher self, to my Ba, And since I can remember, since like probably like 3 years old, I've been in that kind of frequency going on. My first book that I read would be the Bible. I was told, like, through hearing intuitions, go seek this book, go read this book. I was raised Catholic, the Christianity kind of religion, because of my family or whatever. So when I was a child, reading the Bible, I was like told to start reading that. Like, that's where the truth is gonna be at, because I was always seeking, God, higher self, the truth, wanting to know more, what was in life. I always knew there was something more deeper than what we see. Kind of like, felt like a reincarnation or something like that. Like I was seeking my higher purpose. I was going to, like, when I was a child, going to Bible studies. I was always questioning what I was learning. I never believed in Jesus. Jesus was somebody that I acknowledged. I would look at it like he's somebody we can become, more like a brother, not God. It would always confuse me how the Son of God was considered God, and so I never accepted Jesus in my heart, but I believed in God, because I would read the Bible probably like so, and I would read it on my own. Like when I would get out of school, I would go and read the Bible on my own, just to seek knowledge. I remember when Joe used to come around, Bible studies with them as well, and the images that they would show me were the ones that showed me the image of Moses being put in Kemet, and that intrigued me. And watching movies growing up, like of Kemet, the Michael Jackson, what's it called, Time, that video always intrigued me, always seeing different aspect of Kemet. And then, the Bible was like, oh, this is the closest thing that I have to learn about Kemet. I wanted to learn about Kemet, even though they were telling me it was evil and all bad stuff about it. I like blocked it out of my mind and was intrigued, because I looked at it like Moses comes from here, and he's the one that so-called wrote the Bible. And,
So you already, it seemed like you've already experienced being, you felt alone already.
Yeah, alone, but at the same time, I felt the spirituality around me, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was always into God and all that, so I felt the presence around me a lot. And not just God, but other entities as well. You know what I'm saying? Spirits or whatever.
Yeah. What it also seems like you when someone told you something negative about something you were intrigued in, you was like, no, hold on, let me go see for myself. Let me go see what this is all about. So
it's like telling me, at that time I was into Ninja Turtles, and they'll tell me, oh, the Ninja Turtles are bad. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are my cartoons. What are you talking about? I was always into when I was doing the Bible studies with the Jehovah's Witness. They noticed how intrigued I was with the Bible. They seen how I would study and do the homework that they would tell me to do, and all the questions. I had a lot of intriguing questions about, the Bible and all the different characters in the Bible. So I was really into the stories. I was intrigued by it, and also with the morals, the principles that they did have. And of course, being intrigued and interested in the Bible is because it was stolen from Kemet. So deep in my Eve, in my Ba, it knew that it, was related to Kemet, really. That's how I view it. And I remember also when I was young, I'll probably say like 4 years old, one of my close uncles, he was like a younger uncle, he had passed away. And no one told me that he passed away. They didn't take me to a funeral, nothing like that. But they had like a wake. When I lived at this time I lived in New York, and they had like a wake in the basement, and everybody was there. Some people were partying, because and no one had told me away. He was real close to me, like was always trying to, be, and he was more like the younger version, like, and more hip to the streets and things like that, and hip hop. And like after I would always have him in my mind. Like he would always come to me at night and talk to me, and I had no idea he passed away. And so this is at the same time was speaking with God, and at the same time I would see my uncle, and my uncle was dressed in a blue robe, kind of like how Jesus would dress up, with all that, like the disciples and things like that. And I remember every time I would go to sleep at night, I would do my prayers, and my prayers was always in layers, where I would pray for myself, for protection, and becoming more intelligent, things like that. And I would always envision like an aura around me. And this is before me knowing anything about meditation, anything about energy, all that. So I would pray in layers, where I pray for myself, giving myself energy, and then I'll pray for my family, and then I'll pray for friends, and then I'll pray for the world. And I could see myself every night. I would see myself like doing it in layers, and coming out of the earth and seeing the earth and giving energy to the earth, like seeing like a orb, or like a big energy aura around the earth, giving everybody on the world healing and protection. And then I'll go further on to the universe. And with my uncle, at night, after I say my prayers and all, he was in my head, like in the see him like in an attic, and I'll be like, oh, good night, bulb, and turn it off, and I will go to sleep. I'll go to my upesh. And not until like I was like 6 or 7 years old, I was doing that for at least 2 or 3 years. And like when I turned like 6 or 7 is when I realized that he passed away. It was weird. It was like he told me in my mind, he had told me like, oh yeah, like something he said. I don't recall what it was, but it clicked to me like, oh wait, he passed away. He's not here. Nobody told me nothing. And I was like, yo, what? And I remember I was crying then. I was young, and I was like, dang, he passed away. And then ever since then, I never got to see him again. Like I never got to speak to him like how I was when I was a child, in my mind or anything like that. So I had communications with him throughout that whole time. So I feel like he was also a big part of the reason why I got into the Bible and things of that nature, because he was into that as well. He was into like the so-called 5% of nations. I believe he was a Zulu nation. He was in Zulu. So he was into like the culture and things of that nature. So I feel like he was guiding me into this knowledge as well. So, but anyways, I got older.
That's enough that you had already dealt with that. That's never, man. That's hey, I can. So you already had that state of mind. You already had a spiritual, people call it spiritual state of mind, right? And how you prayed,
Yeah,
um, already at the age of 6 or 7, like just to already have that type of
yeah,
imagination, that type of perception, and to be able to pray
yeah,
like that, and you had pretty much your first uh, spiritual interaction with your uncle before you even came into anything. So that's an interesting experience, great brother.
in New York, yeah, tour. So yeah, like and like when I turned 8 years old, I remember when it was between 7 and 8. So after that happened, I remember I started thinking deeper and deeper and deeper. So I would meditate a lot more, but I didn't know it was considered meditation. It was more like a prayer. And I would ask God questions, questions upon questions, like what happens when we go to hell? What happens when we go to heaven? And things in that nature. I remember one time when I went to school, I think I was in second grade, and there was kids there that they were more like into Christianity, Jesus believing. And I remember they said something about hell. They were mentioning hell. So their whole thing was to behave good because if not, they go to hell. And that was my first time hearing about hell. So this whole time that I was studying the Bible and doing Bible studies and all that, I never came across hell. I was never taught about hell. Um, Maybe a little bit about the devil, but not as much. So I was always intrigued into the Bible because of all the glory and the miracles and magic that it provided. Like thinking about heaven, like oh wow, it's a wonderful place. So I wasn't introduced to the Bible or to God or anything like that with fear. So it wasn't like don't pray if you don't be good. You None of that came into place until I recall when I was in second grade, and these group of kids, they were talking about, oh, that's the worst place or whatever. So I was like, what's hell? Like, what happens if you go to hell? What is that? And that scared me so hard because I remember the way that this kid said it to me. He was like, "Oh, your soul is gone after that. You're dead." I'm like, "What?" So I imagine as soon as he said that, he said, "I'm like, I imagine my soul, my whole existence, my being, just disappearing and not existing." And I'm like, "What?" And I when I went home, I remember thinking about that, contemplating on that, like imagining myself going into hell. Like, what would that be like? I'm like, I would imagine darkness, complete darkness. Because then I would ask other people in my family. Then after that, I would ask like my cousins, my aunts, my grandma. I asked them, "Yo, what's hell like?" and da da da, things of that nature. And they were telling me like, oh, different aspects. Some people would tell me, oh, you're gonna be in complete darkness, and all you hear is the devil laughing at you. And I'm like, what? So I would imagine those type of things, and I'm like, man, that's horrible. I'm like, so I would try to imagine like, how do I get out of there? If I'm in hell, how do I get out of there? And so I was just like, now I'm thinking, how do I avoid going into hell, being in hell? And that's when I started learning, like, okay, now what do I have to do to protect myself from these evil, from these demons and the devil? And I remember my grandma, she told me, oh, where there's, cause my cousin, she was like trying to scare me. She was on some wicked shit. I don't, excuse my language. She was on some wicked things. She was trying to like put fear into me. She enjoyed she got a rush from putting fear into people, and especially kids like me as a young child. So she was like telling me, "Oh, the devil's coming to get you. He's gonna take you," and something like that, And I would ask my grandma, like, "Oh, what do I need to do to protect myself from this devil?" And she's like, "Oh, that's nothing. Just carry this rosary with you." Perfect. And I'm like, "That's all I got to do." And then she was telling me to do these prayers. So that's when I started learning about praying the Hail Mary prayer, the what's it called, Father, Heaven, Father, whatever. So I would do those prayers, and I would sleep with the rosary under my pillow, just to protect myself from these demons and the devil and all that. And I remember I was questioning my parents, like I would annoy them with all these questions of the Bible, and they'll be like, "Man, leave me alone." And my mom's, I remember she would tell me things that would like traumatize me, man. I'm like, "Yo, what?" She just to brush me off. She'll be like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, because now I started questioning, so I'm like, "Yo, so if hell is like that and heaven is perfect, what happens when you go to heaven? Like, are you like stuck? Like nothing, you don't do nothing, you don't move?" And my mom, she has said, "Oh, you become a frozen picture. You become like a painting, and that's it. You're stuck in heaven like that." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yo, I don't think I want to go to heaven." I'm like, that doesn't even sound right. That sounds like hell to me.
Facts.
And I remember there was this one night, it was traumatizing. I'm like, what? Hell is like that? Heaven like, I don't know if I want to go to either one of these places. And so I'm like, nah, there's got to be more to this than that. So I was like questioning more and more, questioning God, like, as a form of meditation. And I just kept going higher and higher. And I remember I got to a point, this one night, I got to a point where I kind of like was quantum leaping in a sense, because it's like I was going into different worlds, different universe ideas, and I was imagining about time traveling, different things like that. I don't know where that came from. It could have been from cartoons and movies at the time, but I was thinking in the level of quantum physics. I didn't know any of this until I got older, till like I was like, I had seen a movie, I was talking about quantum physics, and I was like, oh, that's exactly how I was thinking when I was 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old. That's what I was thinking of. And when I had that thought in my mind, I was literally going crazy at 7 years old. I was like, what? And I was like confused at that time. I could say it was kind of like suicidal, because it's like I didn't want to live. I'm like, I don't want to be here. If I gotta deal with any of these type of, I want to deal with none of that. And it was real scary. I got real anxiety off of that, and I didn't tell nobody about it. I had nobody to talk to about that but God. And I kind of calmed down. I remember it had all happened like in one night, and it was just like so much for me. I was like, what? But then that went away, and I started just learning more and more about the Bible. Adam and Eve, when they were, I try to always go back. Like, I'm like, okay, the Bible, all the bad stuff that happened, whatever. I need to know what started this whole problem. So with the snake making us tempted and all that, I was questioning that. I was like, the snake, he's trying to give us knowledge though, and there's a tree here that's of good, and there's a tree of life. I had that in question to it, but I just had that in thought, like it doesn't seem like so evil to me. Why would God not want us to be intelligent? Like, why wouldn't God want us to live forever? He tells us that Adam and Eve was supposed to live forever, but yet he doesn't want you to eat from a tree that makes you live forever. So it's like that's confusing. Like, what? I thought they lived already forever. So
He
if
was
they
asking
eat
the real
something,
questions.
yeah, I'm like, yo, if they eat from a tree that makes you live forever, is that a sin? If they living forever already? And I'm like, when you commit a sin, some people do it out of ignorance without knowing. So I'm like, why wouldn't us eating from a tree of knowledge allow us to be more godly? You know what I'm saying? It'll allow us to not sin. It'll make us be more righteous, more like God. And as I got older, like I would say like 13, 14, it came to me more. It made more sense. Like, nah, this don't even sound right. Like, knowledge is more important. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like God. Like, this sounds like something else. And I remember when I was like 15, I would go to the libraries, and I came across. So I was always intrigued into like the knowledge from like uh 14. I got introduced to like the street knowledge, which is like more like the like 5% of knowledge, which was about gods and earth, the alphabets and all that, the numbers. So I started learning about that, and learning about like time, the Illuminati, all that wild conspiracy stuff. And I was like intrigued. My mind was blown when I learned about that, because I'm like, yo, these are the questions that I had. Like, this is a push from the Bible, because the Bible is like a box. You can only get so much from it. But then learning about conspiracies and all that, it like opened my mind. Like, oh, whoa, hold on. And then learning about how this system is corrupted, the history of the genocide that happened in this country and different countries, the slaves, all that. I learned that in school, but it never clicked to me because school wasn't that interesting. But after I got the street knowledge, that's when school became like intriguing to me. I started getting good grades. I started like getting deeper into school. I started learning more. I started questioning my teachers more. I started sitting in the front seat, of the class. Like, wait a minute, I need to know
You was
all
on a
this.
mission. Hey, you was on a mission. He
I'm
was
like,
ready. At 15 too?
I'm like, I need to
Man.
know. Yeah, man. I was like, I need to know all this history. I was always into math. I was always into drawing. I was always like an artist. So those are the two things that I always was good at in school. But when it came to reading, language arts, history, science, I was like, no, I don't want that. Science was cool, just depending on the teacher that I had. And certain teachers, they were like no good, so it didn't interest in me for science. But when I had the cool teachers that would make science look intriguing, I was into it as well at that time too. But math was my number one. I always loved math because math made sense to me. 1 + 1 = 2. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. While language arts, the grammar, how does PH means F and things like that. I'm like, nah, man, this is weird, man. Like, and I always was like rebellion against spelling, because also learning about spells. So while I'm in school, I'm reading the Bible at home, and so learning about spells, I would look at school like, yo, these are all spells. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is evil. I'm like, I would even look at how things are written, like curse words. I'm like, yo, that's a curse, cursive. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a curse. I don't want nothing to do with this. So I was always, I was like, nah, this is all evil. This is an evil system. So I was into graffiti, And I always look at graffiti like that's breaking the, what we would call now the matrix. I didn't call it the matrix then. I would look at it like the system, just going against the system. So I would look at graffiti, I'd do graffiti and look at graffiti as a form of breaking the system. Speaking slang is a form of breaking the system. So I was always into speaking slang, writing graffiti, like, my essays would be all graffitied out. Like the way I wrote was graffiti all the time, and just slang and things like that. And so in school I was intrigued with math. And then when I would go to the library when I was 15, that's when I started learning about the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Gnostics, and I had friends at the time as well that was into the conspiracy theories and things like that. And I had one particular friend, he would have lots of books because he had older brothers that they were into the knowledge, and they were my older cousin who also was that street knowledge, conspiracy theories. And I would always tell him like, yo, let me get some books, man. Let me get, something that I can intrigue myself with. And at that time, it was like a big deal. Like, oh, don't get the books. You can't buy the books yourself because you can't let the government know that you're reading these type of books, because if not, they'll kill you and things like that. So in order for us to get these kind of books, they would have us steal them. Like, oh, you gotta steal it. You gotta go to the bookstores and steal them. You can't buy them, because if you buy them, they gonna know you into this. And I'm like, dang, man, I don't like, this is so petty. I don't want to steal this, man. Like, I'm not into this. And I remember I would have to do missions just to get information and get knowledge. I'm like, man, I want this. And my first time doing it, I stole the wrong book. I stole a science fiction book. Because I'm like, oh, this is, aliens and all that. I don't think so. And then my boy was like, yo, man, this is science fiction. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm looking for. Like, you gotta tell me, man. I'm like, yo. And then so he told me, I'm like, man, just give me some books about magic. I want to know about the magic, reptilians. Like that's all I want to know. I don't care about, I didn't care too much about like the history of like, at that time I didn't care too much about like the history things, like with America history too much, because I was like, I'm learning that at school, but not like the deep history. I was just like, just give me the magic stuff. And that was my first time getting a Kabbalah book. So I was learning about Kabbalah and shamanistic magic and all kinds of different magic. And I remember playing with it a little. I did something with my hand, where I was playing with my hands with my friends or whatever, which they don't know nothing about those type of things. They were all like Christians and all that, but they were in the streets. And I remember I did something, and it felt like I reversed time. Like everybody got to see that. Like I stopped, and I was playing with it as if I knew what I was doing. So I would act with them like, oh, I know what I'm doing, and I'm just playing with their minds. And I remember I was seeing my hand. I did something with my hand where I was like moving forward and reverse at the same time. And it like did something where everything around me was like, it transformed into like clay, like the clay animation. And my everybody around me turned silent. And it's like I reversed time. I stopped time for a moment. And my fingers, I remember my hands, they turned into like a reptilian. And I seen it. I was like, oh man, I got so scared. And I seen my hands turn long like a reptile. I was like, oh. And I felt like this energy coming out of my body from the bottom on up, spiraling. And it went all the way up. And I could feel like spirits spinning around me, all around me. And I had two homeboys that they seen my hand turn into that. So it wasn't just in my head. And one of them, he was like real scary, like more Catholic. And he looked at it and he got scared. He looked at me like the devil. The other one, he liked that kind of evil stuff. So he was like, oh, whoa, wow, and this and that.
That dual reaction.
And I was, yeah, and I was scared. I was like, oh, man. And me at the time studying about the reptilians, to me, all reptilians were evil. Everything about reptilians. So I was looking at, I didn't look at reptiles as maybe like 19 years old or something like that. That's when I started understanding that we're all reptiles. You know, the reptilian energy is good. It was more like I started learning about the Anunnakis afterwards, like probably like when I was 16, and that's when I learned about the story about Enki and Enlil. So that's when I knew that there were good reptilians, but I still was looking at reptilians like, oh, they're evil. So not until like I was like 19 is that I accepted that reptilians is a good energy. And even then, like, so the whole time growing up, I always looked at snakes as evil because of the Bible. And I remember when I was a child, probably like when I was 4, it was before me going to I was going to school. I started school when I was 4 years old. So I remember this one night I stood up and I looked at the bottom of my bed and I seen like 4 snakes, all black, spiraling, like all in a pit all together. And I was like, oh, I got real scared of that. So ever since then, I always looked at snakes like real evil. I never really liked onions because it reminded me of snakes, garlic, and all that. It made me look at snake skin. So I always looked at snakes as evil growing up as a child. So it wasn't until I got introduced to the Gnostic book is that when I learned, you know, in the Gnostic book, it teaches that the serpent was really good. It was really God. And that God at that time in the book was the devil, trying to keep us away from the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. So that's when I accepted, you know, reptiles a little bit more, but I was still like on the iffy side. So when I was 15, I was astrology. I was learning on my own, going to the library, searching for more knowledge, more truth. Afterwards, when I was like 16, is when he first gave me the David Icke book, and that blew my mind. That took me to a whole nother level. And David Icke was definitely something that took me to open my mind even more and made me want to become a mathematician, made me want to go into school to become a psychologist. Like, I wanted to go all the way in, like, for school. Like, I'm like, what? I want to go to college. I want to do, you know, it made me become more proud of being who I am, more proud of being a human and learning about the soul and the spirit. So it was like a true definition of knowledge is power. It just shows you, like, when you know who you are and you know where you come from and where you're going, it'll kind of like boost your energy up. It'll make you more enthusiastic. And I remember studying about astrology. My astrology, it blew my mind. So I also wanted to be an astrologer and everything. And numerology was so deep to me. That made me be like, which is like gematria and things like that. And you know, and I was also studying the Kabbalah. So I was like, man, math is everything. Math is the language of God. That's how I would look at it. Like, yo, this is so deep. And I remember in school, man, I was so deep into the math. that I would even teach my teachers, because they're just teaching, and sometimes big things like that. I was so infatuated with math. Math every day. I had one of my first period classes was math. So as soon as I would go to school, right away I got math. And then I had this other, I think it was algebra or something like that. I would have it like every other day. And both of my teachers, they were females, and they were real dope. They were melanated females. They were real dope, real cool. They knew I was like, because in school I was kind of bad. Like I would do, I would get in trouble, but I was into school. I still had good grades after having knowledge of self. I was bad because that was my rebellion side. I understood the system was evil, so I would go against it.
One of them good kids, one of them bad kids with straight A's.
It was strange, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because it's like I was against the system, but I wasn't against being intelligent. So I wasn't like these other people that they're rebellious and they being intelligent is like nerdish and things like that. Nah, to me it was like you gotta be intelligent, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be more wise and things of that nature. And I always still had morals and character, a good character. I always had God in my mind. So, and I just made sure that I wasn't falling off. I wasn't into drugs. I wasn't into drinking or nothing like that. I started drinking probably like when I was like 17. I would drink beers and things like that, and liquor just to party, but not like an everyday thing. And that took my mind to a whole nother world. And but the studying was always intriguing me. I was always into knowledge, and remember in school even better. It made me in school, and I had some bad. Some of them, when you would see me having like A's, B's, and then when it comes to these particular teachers, I would have straight F's. Like particular teacher, when I was in, I think I was 10th grade, and this was for science. This was my biology teacher, and she was evil. She looked like a reptilian herself to me. Like when I would turn in my work to her, she would rip it up in my face. I'm like, what?
Dang.
I'm like, I know where I'm at. I know who I am. I know what's going on. I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So I would make sure that I skipped that class. I would be skipping class and go somewhere and do something else, because I'm like, this lady is trying to, she's only failing me. She's not helping me at all. And I have friends that had her class, and they would have their parents come and they can switch classes. With me, my parents, they weren't like supportive like that. They ain't see it like that. They didn't care. They weren't into school. I could have been in a better position. I was never into sports growing up, but I was myself. I was into like all these things, martial arts, but my parents, they never put me into none of these things. You know what I'm saying? You know how certain parents, when they see their children have a spark, they're going to encourage that spark for them to be the better version of themselves. So a lot of my rebellion comes from that as well, from not being able to be able to express myself properly, because I was really into art. So I could have gone to an art school, you know what I'm saying? There were other parents that would tell my parents, yo, you should put your child into art school. Like, he's a real good artist. Because I would draw all the time, doing different things, focus and calm. But, not being able to do none of it, only being in sports in the streets, that made me rebel. That made me, be who I am in that sense. And it's a lot of trouble. when I was like 16. So my mind was like, this world is evil. This is corrupted. There's good in it, but there's also evil. And I always looked at the police as evil. I looked at them like I never liked the police ever. My first encounter with the police was probably like when I was like 7 years old. I remember that I went to the airport. I was going to visit my country, and what's it called? I was dressed up, and I had like a belt. I was dressed up in a belt, all black with like a shiny belt. And the police at the airport, they all came out, and they're like, "Oh, he got a gun on," and they all drew guns on me. Like, yo,
at the age of
like,
7.
At the age of 7, yo, I was like, "What?" This one lady screaming, "Yo, he's got a gun! He's got a gun! Yo, he got a gun!" I'm like, and all I had was a belt. I had there's no form of threat or nothing like that. And I'm like, man, I remember that, and I'm like, yo, that's so evil, man. I could have died for nothing, you know what I'm saying? And they try to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. My parents, they weren't really into like understanding things like that. To me, they were like brainwashed, like they're like zombies, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm walking in this world and they don't know nothing what's going on. Like, yo, like, we're so much danger around us, but
they didn't know who they birthed. They didn't know who they gave. They
don't even know, man. So as I got, the police at school, they were messing with me. I didn't like them. They were always trying to pick at me, like come after me and stuff like that. And they knew who were like so-called gang members, know like who the real bad children are. And it's like they would give them a pass, come after me though. And I'm like, to me, I was like always thinking of the conspiracy theories, like, oh, they just after me because there's some reptilians, you know what I'm saying? They evil and all this and that, and they know that I'm against the system and this and that. So that's how I would view them as. And when I was hanging out with my friends after school, I remember this one time, there was this one guy, I didn't like him. He was from this one neighborhood, and I didn't like him. He didn't like me. We weren't cool like that. And I was into like graffiti, all the hip hop stuff. I was into breakdancing, rapping. I would rap and freestyle. I would do a lot of battle raps with people. So I was with this one dude that he was cool with me, and he was a rapper. So I was rapping with him. We was hanging out this one time after school, and that one kid that I didn't like, he came along, and he didn't like me. But then when he started hearing me rapping and freestyling, he was like, "Oh man," he tried to be cool with me, you know what I'm saying? And I was still like, yeah, whatever, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, you cool, but you ain't cool like that, because I could see the snake in him. Well, not snake, the evil in him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And yeah, it's not all snakes are not evil, man, you know what I'm saying? So I would beat me with that. For the South. This ride that the police following, they were walking this whole time. And I would it would be like night times, we'll get pulled over by police. Like, I remember it was like it's with the police a lot, and they would pull us over, search us, do all this and that, and we were straight. We were, nothing, looking for something. And then this one particular time when I was with that one kid, I got caught up with by being with him, because it's like the police, they were like following us. The whole day they were like monitoring us for like no reason too, like as if we were doing something wild or something like that. basically they were just practicing on us. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, the police that we had available at that time was real corrupted, and I mean to this day they are. But the ones that we had, they no longer have that force. They changed it over to like sheriffs, and they would target the teenagers and things of that nature. And I remember that when we were riding with that one particular guy that I ain't like, he had drugs on him, and he was selling and stuff like that. And what's it called? So the police, they came, ran up on us, guns drawn to my head, guns drawn to all of us for no reason. And then this guy that had the drugs, he took it out. He's like, oh, got all scared, and he threw it by my way. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with this guy, yo?
No.
And he put that all that on me. I'm like, nah, man. I feel plotted against me for this dude to do that. The police stayed on my head, you know what I'm saying, ready to blow my head off, blow your head off. And I was so mad at them, like, yo, y'all just some reptilians, some evil, beings or whatever. And I was like, yo, I didn't care. I was ready to die. I remember him having the gun to my head. He's like, I'm gonna blow your head off. And I pushed the gun with my head, like, man, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? He's like, what? He thought I was on drugs, because it's like, yo, who, like, this kid is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And he was checking my pulse. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, because I learning about magic and meridian points and acupressure point. I'm like, yo, this guy's stealing my energy, you know what I'm saying? Which he probably was doing, but he had his hands right here. And a lot of people were telling me, oh, it was just to check your pulse to see if you were on drugs and things like that. And, they ended up putting all that on me. The drugs that they got caught with, that they found, they put that all on me. And we were with like 4 people, 4 teenagers. And my boy, he was the driver. And he was like, yo, that's not his. That's not his. And the police knew that other individual, you know what I'm saying? They knew he was a troublemaker. He was already like on probation or something like that. And the other kid that was with us too, he was like, yo, that's not his, man. That's not his. Y'all know that's not his. And the police like, oh yeah? You want this to be yours then? And they're like, nope, shut up. So they knew that it wasn't it. And all they did was call they were like, oh, what you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Blah 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 to the one kid on probation. He's like acting like a good kid, like, oh no, I'm just hanging out. Blah. It just so fake. It seemed like played out, because it's like, yo, you're on probation and that stuff. And all they did was call his moms, and his moms came to pick him up and took him home. But in my mind, like, as I got older learning, I'm like, yo, if you're on probation and you get caught up, with any people, dealing with any crime, the first person they call is not your mom, it's your probation officer. So, because that's a violation to be around certain individuals committing crimes.
Light the pathway.
Pathways.
All my life I was looking for a sign
to awakening.
Wasn't sure where to find a peace of mind.
House of Act.
Sometimes you can see things when it ain't time.
Pathways.
Well, for you I'll be putting it all aside.
To awakening. Open up your eyes, I see they dream and sleep. Knocking on the door, I'm for sure they're not hearing me. Open up your eye, let the light inside, stop fearing it. Please don't be surprised when we rise and appearing, traversing the boats of consciousness. Are you steering ship? Are you dedicated? Are you focused? Are you serious? Are you motivated? Is your inspiration clearly lit? Are you advantageous of opportunities hidden in the Saba to the pathways? We are past the last days. We do more than half faith. Put in action in place. Pathways to awakening. Travel to awakening. Pathways to awakening. Travel to awakening. Awakening.
Don't need to control the pain.
Pathways
So alive.
to awakening.
When I look at you, it seems
House of Act.
I can get so high.
Pathways to awakening. Are you awakened or are you staying asleep? Pathways.
I mean, you know, that's kind of how that's the the main part. That's the importance of it all, right? Because that that's who we are, man. That's how we become who we are through experience of. And I'm pretty sure, man, there's people that can relate to your story for sure.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. That's why I have to. I'm
So,
honored that you give me the platform to say this, man. Support to you, man. They
hey,
need
hey,
to hear
you
this.
already, yes, sir. Hey, when did you start martial arts? Are you like a black belt or something? Like, when did you start
So,
that?
so martial arts, it's like I was always into, you know, kung fu and things like that from watching Ninja Turtles and these superheroes, X-Men. So growing up, I wasn't in no classes or nothing like that. Like I said, my parents weren't supportive of none of that. So I started learning um, martial arts from my homeboys. He passed and he was an older person. It was more my older cousin. So he took martial arts and kung fu, and he was when I was 16. He was
Can you say his
teaching me
name again?
about
You were choppy.
Hotep. So his name was B1, and he was more older than me, and he had passed away.
You said it was Tai Chi.
And he was into kung fu and tai chi, all the deep martial arts like bagua, a lot of different kung fu, more like qigong and kung fu, and high levels. He was real deep. He was Haitian background. He was melanated. He was tall, very lean. Like when I first seen Saba at the Pathways of Awakening, he reminded me of him. I was like, what? Because now you like what? His one arm is the size of my whole body. But yeah, so like he was teaching me about the energy, because I was telling him about myself and the knowledge that I had, and it was my cousin, my female cousin. She was the one that introduced me to him, but I already knew him. I knew him through my other homeboy who gave me the books of knowledge, and he was the one that I knew him. I knew him through him. I was hanging out with him like that, but not too much because he was older than me. And when I got reintroduced to him by my cousin, he was like, oh, so you went to that, this and that. So he was teaching me. He's like, oh, I could teach you. And I only seen him a few times learning that. So he would tell me like things about like with my hands, how to feel the chi with my hand, how to envision the meditation. So I took that into consideration, and I did it on my own. And when I did see him, it was like real quick moves that we would do. So this was like 16, 17. And I wasn't into like no classes, nothing like that. I wanted to, that was something I would love to do. So after that, I had gotten a violation of probation when I was like 17 for not going to school because I was skipping school. And because of the teachers that I had bad teachers. So those bad teachers I would skip. Every other class I had good grades under. So um, when I was in school, my what's it called, guidance counselor, I had told her like, "Yo, can you switch me out of this class? Is there any way that you could do that? Look at my report card. I'm doing good. I got all good grades, except for this class. I just need to switch it up. I need to go to another class." And then I also asked her if I could request to stay after school to take more math classes because I was so into math. I'm like, yo, I want to go. I was telling her everything that I wanted to do, thinking that would help me out. But, knowing how evil this system is, it's insane. So I told her, I want to take more math classes. I want to go to college and become a mathematician. I'm already doing good in school with math, and I want to go after school, and take more math classes that you guys have available now. I just need your permission to take me out of that class, and also to allow me to stay after school because I'm on probation. When I was on probation, I had like maximum probation. They gave me the worst probation where I had to go to school every day. But once I get out of school, I had a curfew where I had to go to home right away. I can't go out, hang out. I can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is every day. And if I skip school or whatever, that's a violation of probation. And I told her that, and she was, and then I told her also that at that time I was also studying about hypnosis, and I learned that psychology has to do with hypnosis, like they both go hand in hand. So I was always intrigued and learning about the conspiracy of the system, how under hypnosis and spell work, I knew all that correlated. I knew all that came Allah, all that. I knew it all combined. So I was telling her like, yeah, I want to go to school for a mathematician. I want to become a psychologist because I was into the mind. I was intrigued to these things. So I'm like, this is a perfect career for me to do, or at least just to go to school for. And she was a psychologist, and she was a melanated female, and she told me drop out of school. She's like, get out of here,
Really?
go, get a GED and drop out of school. Yeah, and I was like, what? I was shocked because I'm like, here I am telling you how good I'm doing and all the good things that I want to do, and you're telling me to drop out of school? I'm like, man, here we go again with these conspiracy theories, man. And yeah, because I recall having, friends and cousins that when they dropped out of school, I remember they telling me their story. When they're ready to drop out of school, the teachers and the guidance counselors and the deans and all that, they would tell them, the staffs would tell them, please don't drop out of school. We'll do anything for you. You know what I'm saying? What is it that you want us to do to make it easier for you? Are you sure you want to drop out? Like, they would try not to let people drop out. While with me, they were telling me to drop out. You know what I'm saying? I found that strange. I'm like, yo, but I'm doing good. Like, I'm a good grade student, even though I would get into some trouble here and there. But it's like, look at the direction I'm going. Like, if you can don't worry about the distraction, like all the troubles. If you keep me focused on what I want and what, if I'm good at this, I'm going to stay focused and I'm going to be in a better direction. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like they were just leading me into like damnation, like into worse problems. And I would get into fights and things like that in school, but not in school. It was more like out of school. So people that were going to school, they were going, the people that I would have fights with, they were in school. So they were probably thinking that I'm going to do something in school or something like that. So I would always get messed with the police. And this is while being in probation and all that. And the police, I remember the police, there was a time where they would pull me out of my classes every day. Pull me out of my classes every day to search me, question me, all kinds of stuff. And it's like they knew that I wasn't that bad. I was bad, but I wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was bad, like, where I would defend myself, but nothing like disrespectful. I wasn't disrespectful to the teachers. I didn't like the police. When they started doing that to me, I was being real disrespectful to them. But nothing too extreme, though. You know what I'm saying? Just enough to hold down my rights, you know, to hold myself down. Always getting harassed by me when they knew who the people that really were the bad ones. They let them slide. They would help them. They're like, it was weird. It was like, you know, it was like a conspiracy always in my mind. Like, man, these kids, they don't have no brain, no future. These are the future, you know, criminals, like real criminals, evil criminals, you know what I'm saying? And to me, rebellion, because I was learning about revolution and things of that nature. So committing crimes to me wasn't so bad, because I understood revolution. Revolutionists would commit crimes for the good, you know, kind of like Robin Hood. So I never looked at crime, except like hideous crimes, real bad crimes, as something bad. I seen it as always as a form of rebellion against the system. So I kind of got lost when I was like 16, going to 17, getting more deeper into rebellion. So I would look at like crime as a good thing. Like, oh, every time I commit a crime, I'm going against the system. I'm hurting the system. I'm hurting it more. So I kind of got into it like that. And when I got the violation of probation, I got sent into, I got locked up for that. That was when I was younger. So I got locked up prior for like over a year, almost like a year and a half. And in there, I started learning more. I got focused. I stayed away from a lot of, I made sure I disciplined myself, working out. So, you know, certain people would work and, you know, would like to flex and look at themselves in the mirror. I wasn't into that. I was like, I'm here to discipline myself, and I'm working out for my energy, because I was into, you know, a little bit of the Tai Chi and Kung Fu at that time. So from by my homeboy at the time, I picked that up and I took it with me when I was locked up. And in there, I met some other people that were into martial arts, that were actually taking classes and things like that. But these were kids that were they were good kids. They weren't really like, they were in there for like the wrong reasons, and they were in and out. They weren't like staying there for a long time. They'll probably be there for like a week. Some of them will be there for like 3 days or something like that. And I would pick up knowledge from them real quick, because they noticed how I would have my stances, like how I would sit upright, opposed to the other teenagers. They would be more like slanted and, you know, slouching and things like that. And I was always into working out, so they noticed that about me. And then, you know, I started learning about more Kung Fu techniques through them, and more Tai Chi, learning how to breathe and things like that. And I was like intrigued. I was like, what? So when I was locked up, I found that like heaven, because I'm like, yo, this is the best place to meditate at. So I would get into fights so I can get sent to the box. You know what I'm saying? I would pick like, who do I want? Like, who do I see is the most evilest person here or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And let me target them. Let me find a reason to, you know, get into a fight with them. And I would get into a fight, and as soon as you get into a fight, and I would, you know, beat them up, because I'm training the whole time. And it's like me not being a bully, because they weren't smaller than me or weaker than me or nothing like that. It was more like me practicing what I learned already, but also going against people that are bullies. You know what I'm saying? And when I got put into the box, I would meditate so much, doing all my tai chi, every little thing, watching companies, little things like that, and things like that. So I'll be in the box the entire time, just working out, moves, and they would watch us through a little window, and they would monitor everything that we're doing. So the things that I was doing, they would consider it like being crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, who's excited to be in the box, you know what I'm saying? And I had my little Bible. I had the small Bible, the Psalms Bible. And so I would read that. I had my whole regimen, like, this is perfect. I didn't like being in population because it was a lot of dumb people. It was just stupid people, you know what I'm saying? But I had everybody trained where anybody who came around me, it was like we're working out. Everybody around me is like, we're gonna work out. We had like some beds that were like some heavy kind of beds, and we would fold them up and make them into like workout weights. But we would also fold them up and stack them up, and we would make them into punching bags. So we would get in line, and I would have everybody training, punching them, using them as punching bags. And it was real nefer, you know what I'm saying? Because they had put me in a dorm where I was filled with a whole bunch of like other people, like they would have cells that had like 2 or 3 people in it. But then there was this one time there was a hurricane going on, and they had sent me into one cell that had like 12 people in it, and there was everybody everywhere. And I remember I had everybody lined up working out, like, come on, we in here to work out. We're not doing nothing else. These nasty, perverted, lost-minded children, you know what I'm saying, would do what they do at night. And, it's like, I need to get out of there. I was like, man, whenever I feel like I need to get out of there, I'll just pick a fight with somebody and get sent to the box. And it's like, oh, this is heaven. And when they would take me out of the box, I'm like, dang, already? They're taking me out already. Like, no, I want to stay here, man.
Hey, so what, where did the Kemet, when did Kemet come into your life? Like, when did
throughout that whole time, I was into magic. So magic, when you reading books about magic, you will learn about Kemet. They'll throw Kemet in there. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the books that I've read would always talk about Kemet being one of the civilizations to have magic, to have, intriguing magic. So, like I told you, when I was a young child reading the Bible, what intrigued me to the Bible was Kemet, seeing the images, because Jehovah's Witnesses, they had the best images for children books of the Bible. So it would show you, the Kemet, it will show you Moses with his attire looking like a pharaoh. It'll show you the pharaoh. It'll show you different things like that, and that intrigued me. And also watching movies. But then reading books like the numerology, they would talk about Kemet as well. So it always intrigued me when I was in the library learning about this. And then what got me more into Kemet, though, also David Icke, the book of David Icke. The one book it was the World Conspiracy Theory, something like that. I don't remember when it was. In 2003 or something like that. It was a thick book, man. I remember I used to read that at night, and I would fall asleep and have dreams about all these things, man. Have Pesha's, like, about everything about the reptilians, about the government, and I loved that book so much. It was like a movie to me. Every time I would fall asleep, sometimes I'll knock out and wake up in the middle of the night and just keep reading it because I was so into it. And David Icke, he spoke about Kemet in that book briefly, and that intrigued me because his awakening had to do with like ayahuasca, dealing with seeing reptilians, going to Peru, doing like ceremonies with the shamans. So all that was combined. It wasn't until like I got out of when I was locked up. When I got out of there, I was also reading. Before I got out, I was reading a lot of books of Freemasonry books, and I always noticed that Freemasonry always had to do with Kemet. They always had the element with the all-seeing eye, learning about the conspiracy theories. Like at 15 was the dollar bill with the all-seeing eye, the Illuminati symbol, whatever they would say, and that was Kemet. You know what I'm saying? That was all Kemetic stuff. So that had me programmed, like, you know, there's something about Kemet. And when I was locked up, I had these books that I requested to get. This book that was already there, and it was that book, that movie, Dan Brown, the Da Vinci Code, and I remember reading that, and that with the Illuminati and all the back and forth things about it. It had to do with Kemet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would talk about certain things in the book. In the movie, I don't think he does mention that, but in the book, it has something to do with like magic and secrets and things like that. But the Freemasonry books that I had were about, you know, Kemet. They would break down like how, you know, the hermetic practices and things like that. And then I remember what really got me into Kemet though, like to a whole nother level, was when I got out of being locked up. I was like 19 years old, and what's it called? I stood up one night. It was like 3 a.m. One thing that I was always into was trying to stay up as much as I can. Like, I would try to do like 24 hours. I would try to see how long I could stay up for how long, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know why, but this is something I would do. And I remember I was watching this TV show, whatever, at 3 a.m. And it was and also watching, like, you know, like the Discovery Channel, the ancient history, all that kind of stuff. That had little impacts in my life. But the main one was that one night. It was like 3 a.m. and there was a show going on, and it was with somebody doing something and it happened to be Malachi Z. York, and it showed him being carried in one of those pharaoh chairs. He was on the throne being carried, like something like that, and they were all dressed in Kemetic attires. Yeah, and I was just like, wow, like, yo, that's so dope, like, yo. And it was like a program that they had like at 3 a.m. And I'm like, yo, I've never seen something like this. And he was talking about the dolphins, how they communicate with us and how we come from dolphins, the Delphi. And I'm like, yo, and I remember learning some of those things that he was talking about with David Icke on the David Icke books. And also learning about the Sumerian with the Anunnakis, learning about the fish, half man, half fish. And so I'm like, oh, wow, that's all connecting. But when I seen Malachi and hearing him talking about Kemet and breaking down, you know, the Bible with Kemet, that made me more intrigued to the Bible. And it's like, oh, wow, like, you know, the way he was breaking down the Anunnakis and Kemet, and how he was saying that we were comedics and things like that, I was like, wow, that made me look at things a whole nother way. That made me feel like a pharaoh. It made me feel like I could be related to these people. Like that could be in my bloodline. Like, you know, I feel like I come from this, you know what I'm saying? And learning more about Malachi as I got older and researching him, that blew my mind. I was like, well, I wanted to become a Nuwapian. I never was Nuwapian. And I wanted to become a Nuwapian. Around my way, there was nobody really into Malachi like that. When I would tell people about Malachi, they're like, oh, yeah, I know about him. I heard about him. Malachi, I wanted to meet him so bad. And then that's when I found out that, so I got into Malachi, you know, way later on, like probably like 2009 or something like that. He got locked up in 2003, I think, 2002 or 2003. And seeing everything that he had, how he had a whole land, Tamaray, with comedic stuff, I was just like, wow, doing rituals, the whole attire, the way he talked, his style. Because I always thought Malachi was a 5% of the way he talked. And I was just like, yo, what? And then when I heard him dissing the 5%ers, I was like, what? I'm like, what is this? What is this guy, yo? Because he like knew everything. He knew their knowledge and would break them down. I'm like, yo, nah, like, I need to know more. I'm like, yo, I need to be in this team right here. Like, this is where I need to go to. And I wanted to meet him so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to meet everybody that knew who he was. Anybody that knew him, I was like into that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what got me into Polite. You know what I'm saying? Brother Polite. And because I thought he was really the son of Malachi. I was like, oh, wow, you know what I'm saying? This continues on, the continuation. And I really wanted to like meet Polite because of that. I'm like, oh, this is deep. And I would follow Polite, and he was real deep. You know, at first, everything was copacetic, everything was official. And he had, his knowledge was clean. And how he followed Malachi, I was like, yo, this is who I need to seek after now, because he's the continuation of Malachi. You know what I'm saying? He might still have connections with Malachi and things like that. And I thought he really did, you know what I'm saying? I really thought he was his son. I really thought he got his name from him, that, you know, he was complete Ishbek. I started seeing that with Polite happening little by little as the years gone by. Like, I seen how he was switching up, you know, turning more malicious in a sense. So it was kind of like a con artist in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And I got to meet Polite in person as well too. And when I met him in person, his vibes was a little different from what I would see on, you know, on the YouTubes and things like that. But with Malachi, I was so into Malachi, I wanted to meet him so bad. So I started learning about, you know, astral projection, you know, lucid dreaming, things like that. I learned lucid dreaming through one of my older cousins, and he didn't even know it was considered lucid dreaming. He would just tell me, you could do whatever you want in your dreams. He's like, yeah, I do whatever I want. I fly, I do this. I'm like, what? For real? I'm like, yo, I never thought of it like that, because I would have dreams, a lot of dreams, but it was just dreams. I was just flowing into them. But when my cousin told me that you could do whatever you want in your dreams, I was like, what? I'm going to try that out. So as soon as I went into my dreams, I would try all the time. Every time I have a dream, every night, my whole passion, I'm like, dang, it's not happening. And then I remember this one time I was driving in a car. I was in the backseat of a car, and I was like, oh, I'm in a dream. Okay, now I remember when my cousin told me. He said I could do whatever I want. So what's the first thing I want to do? I want to open this door. I want to jump out this car. Let me see what happens. And I did that. I jumped out the car, and I jumped out, and I was like, and I woke up after that. You know, so I was going through a door. And, you know, now I know that, you know, what doors represent, the Saba. through Saba, the Sabs, and I started doing that more and more. I started learning. I was always learning about dreams, but not lucid dreaming. So growing up, dealing with magic and hypnosis and psychology, I learned that dream important. That if you don't dream, is bad. And learning, dreaming in colors and having different experiences in your dream, I learned that that was healthy for you. And that dreaming is important. And in the Bible, how these characters will have God speak to them in his dreams. Like, so the dreams to me was really important. You know what I'm saying? So as I got more into the dreams, I started learning about lucid dreaming, astral projecting, and things like that. So I remember this one time I wanted to astral project to Malachi. I'm like, since I know he's locked up, let me try to astral project to him. Because in my mind, I'm like, yo, this is real. Like, this, you know what I'm saying? My imagination was wild with the astral projection. And I'm like, I want to meet him. I wanted to meet all kinds of people. I wanted to meet most of the leaders of this world, the people that I thought were good and things like that. Like, for instance, the Dalai Lama, before I even knew how corrupted he was, I thought he was a true, genuine person. I wanted to meet him. I wanted to meet certain shamanic beings as well that were here, and certain masters, kung fu masters. I'm like, yo, I already got it all set up. I would write it down, and I would train. So at this time, though, I was already, I'd say like at 19, I started going to gyms, working out at gyms, and that's when I met my first kung fu teacher, my Sifu. And I was into boxing, so he would see me hitting the punching bags, boxing and things like that. And when I seen him, he came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you look like you already know what you're doing. You got your stuff going good, but let me help you put some more jewels for your belt." You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, "What? What's up? What you got to show me?" And then he told me that he does kung fu, and I'm like, "What?" He didn't have to tell me nothing else more than that. I was like, yo, I'm with it, man. I've been looking for something like this. I've been looking for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and he's still trying to sell me. He was still trying to tell me more things. And I'm like, listen, man, I don't care about none of that. Like, I'm with it. I'm telling you, I want to do it. I'm going to pay for the whole year subscription. Like, it ain't nothing. Like, and he's still trying to sell me. And I'm like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, I'm into this. This is what I've been trying to do all my life. Like, come on, let's do it. I'm dedicated. So I would go to them classes twice a week. And I got fortunate because he taught Kung Fu and Tai Chi. Certain teachers only teach Kung Fu. Some of them just teach Tai Chi only. But he had a combination, and he studied in the Shaolin Temple as well. So it was like, that was deep to me, because at that time, at 19, I made up my mind that I was going to work up to move to China to live in a Shaolin Temple. I was like, I'm not going to have no children. I'm not getting married. I'm not doing none of that, matrix stuff. I'm going to become a full-fledged monk. I want to be a Shaolin master. And when I met him, he was a little out of shape. He wasn't, to me, he didn't look as disciplined, but he had the knowledge. He knew what he was doing. And I learned a lot from him. People large just wanting to learn martial arts. And at that time, UFC was just becoming big. Like MMA was just becoming, because MMA wasn't like a thing back in the days. Most people were into like boxing and karate and kung fu. MMA didn't come to like later on, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, everybody was trying to do MMA. But me, I didn't want to do MMA. I'm like, nah, because I didn't like grappling. I didn't like wrestling. I'm like, I want to learn how to kick somebody in the face and punch them in the face and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to wrestle. Like, yo, that wrestling, yeah, and that wrestling stuff don't work when you're fighting like 5 to 10 people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. I'm like, I don't think you guys ever been jumped in your life. Like that doesn't work. You definitely you gonna die. Because I growing up, I grew up fighting. So even like when I was in kindergarten, I was fighting like fifth graders, sixth graders, getting jumped. Because I come from New York, and in New York, I was fighting every day. Every day there was people putting me to fight other kids. They'll grab me. I was like 4 years old. They'll grab me and they'll have me fight like three kids. They're just, evil. They're just making you fight just to fight. You know what I'm saying? So I would fight every day, every day. It's Leroy. You know what I'm saying? The last drug. And I remember I used to get into fight, and that would get into during the last scene when he's fighting Shogun. I'm like, yo, I will always remember how righteous he was, how humble he was. So that also inspired me. So I will always imagine myself being like him, like when I'm getting beat up, like that last scene where he's getting pushed in the water and stuff like that. And then he gets all this power, this energy up and starts beating him up. Like that's how I would feel a lot of times. So I grew up like that. Yeah, that glow, man. When you got that glow, you know. So like, yeah, every time I would go to different schools, if I see somebody getting bullied, like this was in elementary, when I would see people getting bullied, I would always step up to the bully and try to fight them and get into fights with them, because bullies, they only like fighting people that they know they can't fight back. And I would always look at that like that was wrong. So every time I would go to school, I was always fighting, but I wouldn't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I would, and sometimes I wouldn't. So those are some of the things that made me somewhat into a troublesome child growing up in school. But when I went into high school, I knew not to, because I was already experienced to know that you get in trouble if you fight in school. And I would always fight, like, you know what I'm saying? And when I would get in trouble, I get suspended. And but I learned to calm that down. You know what I'm saying? So when I was learning from my teacher at the time with the Kung Fu, he was putting me on, and I was so into the Tai Chi. So I learned. And I always told him, like, I want to learn more Tai Chi than anything. Tai Chi is my main thing. Like, Kung Fu is cool, but I want more Tai Chi than anything. And he was, like, confused because I was young. I was 19. And most, teenagers at that age, they just want to fight. They just want to, release that anger. They're not into more of a spiritual thing. It's slower. It's hard for you to see the benefits of it if you're so physical. But me, I was like, nah, like that's what I want, that's what I need, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew that Tai Chi, what it would do, it would develop my spirit, it would make my spirit stronger. And since I was already acknowledging demons and reptilians, I'm like, yo, you can't fight no reptilian or Anunnaki with your bare hands. They got power over us, you know what I'm saying? The only way to really beat them is with spirituality, with your energy. And also like watching like, yeah, man, and like watching like Dragon Ball Z. I wasn't too much into that. My cousins, they were. I would see like little aspects of it, and I'm like, yo, that's dope, you know what I'm saying? So in Dragon Ball Z, Goku, he was always into the energy, the chi and things like that. Like when he's throwing his kamikaze or whatever it is, I don't know what it's called, but when he would do his balls or whatever, throwing that ball, that energy ball, it was an energy ball, it wasn't physical. And also like playing video games, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighters, things like that, you see that it's dealing with martial arts, but the real power came from Tai Chi, from the energy. So I knew that Tai Chi got that benefit from me, you know what I'm saying? And in Tai Chi, we do more meditation, things like that. And, that the Shifu at the time, he didn't think like that somebody like me would be into that, especially in America, because, in China is taught to them since a young age, you know what I'm saying, meditation, to meditate. But, you know, nobody really likes to meditate. It's like nobody wants to stand still. Everybody wants to run around. You know, kids, they want to jump around, play. And then as you get older, you know, a teenager, 19, you want to be more active than ever. You want to show and prove what you got. And but me, I was like learning Tai Chi, so I would do that a lot. Stuff. So that I knew that I needed soul, my spirit. Malachi so bad. I started training myself to astral project, to go see him and to go see other individuals. There was this one shaman that I wanted to meet. His name was Golden Light Eagle. And I wanted to meet him so bad, you know what I'm saying? So for a whole, like, I would say like 2 weeks, I was training. I was training before, you know, all the time to get my energy up. But I dedicated 2 weeks completely to go see him, you know what I'm saying? And every night, every day, I would do these certain meditations, and it dealt with Tai Chi and everything, and how I was eating, to try to astral project. And then I remember this one night, the last night that I did it, I was like, yo, I want to go see Golden Light Eagle. And I prepared myself. I did my affirmation. I did everything I needed to do. And then when I went to astral project, I remember coming out of my body, but I blacked out. Like, you know, it faded away. And then I ended up being in the dream. And in the dream, when I went to go see Golden Light Eagle, I didn't see Golden Light Eagle. Who I saw was Heru. And this was probably like when I was like, I would say like 21 or 22, something like that. Yeah, so I seen, and I wasn't like trying to look for Heru. I wasn't trying to look for no Kemet, nothing like that. You know, I was into it like that, but I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? There was no metal nectar, nothing, you know what I'm saying? And it sent me to him. It sent me to Heru, which was funny, you know what I'm saying? Because he is the Golden Light Eagle, you know what I'm saying? The real one is Heru. And when I seen him, he had a crown, and I knew it was him later on because of the crown that he was wearing. Because I looked it up, you know, as soon as I woke up. But he had a crown. He placed it on my head. So I was like, what's it called? They have this scene where they're like looking for the emerald tablet, I think it was, and then there's this light shining. So I was basically the emerald tablet, and there was a light shining above me. And Heru, he had crowned in me. He put a crown on my head, and that's who I seen instead of seeing this other individual. And I was like, what? That was deep. And then after that same week, so I kept trying to astral project, lucid dreaming, and I was getting better and better at it. Then I had astral projected, and I went to go and I actually astral projected to Malachi. I finally got to him. I was like, what? This is deep, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up being in like where he's locked up at. So it was all like in a cell. I was in his cell, and he was dressed up as a Hebrew Israelite Muslim, like, so the Sifu, the Sophism. So he was like, when he was mixing those knowledge, those religions together, he put them together. So that's how I saw him when I saw him. So it was black and white attire with the headband and all that, but it was like a Hebrew / Muslim type look altogether. And he had his beard, he had the glasses on, and he was telling me, I was like, yo, I got so excited when I seen him. He's like, yeah. Like, he's like, calm down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was excited for me to see him. He was like, but he's like telling me to calm down because I was so hyped for you to go back to tell people that know me what you confirmed that you really did see me. And he was doing math, like a whole bunch of numbers, like a mathematician. And I was like, what? I'm like, oh, this is deep. He's like, yeah, you're on point. You're doing what you're doing. Just keep doing it. Don't worry. You actually seeing me. You're connected. And I had no idea that Malachi was into math before that. So I seen him, and I'm like, oh, this is deep, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, I'm so honored to meet you. Like, I was trying so hard to get here. He's like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, now since I'm awake in my dream, let me go visit somebody else. Let me go see Polite. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time I was like into Polite. So I went to go see him. Asked to travel to him, jumped to him, and I ended up being in a classroom where he was teaching, and Polite was teaching there. And in the classroom, he was talking about how he's like, oh, I eat brown people. And he's laughing, ha, 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 ha. Brown meaning melanated, you know what I'm saying? And at that time, I was like, what does he mean by that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he probably talking about portobello mushrooms or something like that. Or, and I took it like that, like I brushed it off. And then when I met him, I got to tell him that in person. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I asked projected to you, and you were in a classroom, and you were talking about you eating brown people. And he paused when I said that. He was like, what? And then I'm like, yeah, but you probably mean like portobello mushroom. And he's laughing like, ha ha ha. And then come to find out later on in the future, like that's all he do, man. He was eating us. He was conning us, you know what I'm saying? Playing with our minds, you know what I'm saying?
That's a lot.
And I had told him about Malachi, and he was like, yeah, he's a mathematician. He was the one that told me that that Malachi was a mathematician and things like that. And I was like, oh, that's deep. And there was somebody else there as well that knew Malachi that was in the land, because Polite never met Malachi, but the individual that was there, he had met Malachi. And he was like, yeah, oh yeah, he was a mathematician. He was all into that. I was like, oh, that's deep. And I'm like, yeah, he told me in the dream or the experience to tell you that this is what he was doing, so that way it can confirm what I come to later on that away from a certain individual on that same day, and he looked spooked, he looked frightened. So for me to tell him that, it was like it was kind of like a setup. He couldn't believe it at first, but then he's like, oh, this guy's innocent, he don't know what he's talking about. Because I was young, you know what I'm saying, and I was into Polite, you know what I'm saying. I met his whole family and everything, his children. And I'm like, yo, this is deep, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought they were real, you know what I'm saying? It was genuine. And through Polite is who is when I learned about Sebi, Dr. Sebi. So that helped me a lot, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that built my energy a lot more as well too. But yeah, so learning all these little things is what got me more intrigued into Kemet, especially with Polite. Polite was heavy into Kemet. He had a name for Kemetic name and everything. His first daughter, her name was Ma'at, you know what I'm saying, which was dope. Even with Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi's wife, name was Ma'at. So I was into that even more. There's also another individual. We got Asir, Duke Asir, Asir Duke of Tears. I met him as well. He was a Moor, and he also was into Kemet a lot, so it intrigued me. It got me more deeper into it. And I was going to become a Moor, but I was so anti-religion, the Bible, that time learning through Malachi a lot more. So I was already against the Bible. I was definitely against Jesus. Now I learned that Jesus was the devil, really, because anybody who's trying to get your soul, that was the devil all the time. We were always taught the devil's trying to take your soul. The devil's a liar. The devil's going to tell you he's going to give you the world. And the devil told Jesus that when he was fasting, hey, I'm gonna give you the world. And yet people say that about Jesus. Hey, you believe in Jesus, the world will be yours. And I'm like, man, this sounds a lot like the devil to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, you can't fool me, man. I'm good. Like when I would go to Bible studies when I was like 15, I was looked upon as a very rebellion, and I would do this on my own. I would go like at nighttime, go to certain Bible studies, and when we would talk about certain parts of the Bible, I would challenge him. I would challenge them and make it more try to get a better understanding, and also try to change people's perspective that are around me, because I was into Gnosticism. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't look at the Bible the same way you guys do, and I don't look at Jesus as my God. You know what I'm saying? I see Jesus as like a brother, God. So like prayers, and they're like, for you, all right, you accept Jesus in your heart, blah blah. And then when they come to me, you accept Jesus in your heart. I'm like, no, that's like saying, do you accept the devil in your heart? He'll be like, what? Yo, this guy's crazy, man.
Blow away. Oh, they were shocked.
Yeah, because it's like I was the most into the Bible. Like I was the one like learning, like that knew about the Bible and knew about God and things like that. And then when it comes to, all right, do you accept Jesus in your heart? I'm like, no, we just had a whole hour conversation about why I don't believe Jesus is God. Why would you try to throw that slick move right in there right away? Like, you thought you got me? Like, I already study psychology and hypnosis. You can't get me like that, too. And I know magic, too. I know that. I always will. So I was like, nah, man, you're part of the system, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, like growing up, as I got older, also learning from Dr. Alim Bey. He was another one that was into Malachi. So I was always looking at people that was, at first would look for people that were closer to Malachi, because I'm like, Malachi is the truth. For what he said, it intrigued me, because he took people out of school system. He took people out of poverty and had them live in a land where they didn't have to work. Because in my mind, I always looked at it like, man, if I didn't have to work, I could be more dedicated to my studies. I could be more dedicated to my martial arts, to Kung Fu, to Tai Chi. I could be more dedicated into astral projecting and things like that. So when I learned that Malachi was doing that, I looked at Malachi like, yo, he's the greatest man that ever lived in the earth. Like, yo, he's like way Jesus. Like, why would anybody want to know about? And I'm like, yo, deep. That is like, then too rising, because you study revolutionaries and against people who went against the system, that went against the evil system. And I always look at it was evil. And so I'm like, that confirms that Malachi is really who he is, because why would they come after him? And then the conspiracy that they threw on him, I was studying that at that time. It was fresh, you know what I'm saying? So at that time, YouTube had videos up where you could see people going to the court, in the court, waiting for him to try to release him, to try to get him free. And I seen a video where they showed the children that testified against him, how they were paid to do that, you know what I'm saying? And I was actually able to see the video. I don't know if they have the video up no more, because I remember at the time they took them off. They took a lot of those videos off. And I remember showing how the children, they got tricked into doing this. And I'm like, yo, there's so many other children that were in Tamaray, how come they didn't experience the same thing? How come they didn't go through that? And I knew that the sheriffs, the police, the government, they were always trying to take down Malachi's whole land. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in one of the most racist towns. You know what I'm saying? So I knew not to believe in what they were saying about him, because I'm like, yo, this man, I don't even call him a man, really. It's just a higher being. This being, there's no way that he could be committing these crimes. Like, out of all this time, and then on top of that, they had no evidence. I was like, nah, man, this is common sense. And the way they locked him up, how he's locked up 5 years, like, I'm like, to real so-called, child molesters and pedophiles, like, you know what I'm saying? You can look at somebody like right now, like Diddy, you know what I'm saying? That's a real monster. That they got real evidence on somebody like this. They're not even thinking about giving him time like that, you know what I'm saying? And then, you got people like R. Kelly, and then now, Polite doing that evil shit, that evil thing that he did. You have to edit that. You know what I'm saying? I be getting my NUK PU NUK PU-ness. But yeah. But they even Polite, he didn't get as much charge as Malachi did. So that tells me everything, you know what I'm saying? And Malachi didn't even get charged for child molestation. He got charged for RICO, you know what I'm saying? Which was a higher charge, you know what I'm saying? He don't got no pedophilia charges and none of that. So, and then to know that, the so-called community, conscious community that was supporting his kind of theories and type of knowledge, how they went so hard against him, so many people. And I was just like, wow, man, that's a shame, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad that there's still people that still believe in him, you know what I'm saying? They're still representing for him, still doing what they do for him, and still know that he's innocent and pushing for him, you know what I'm saying? And then to find out, to meet Saba, yo, that blew my mind, yo. I'm trying to tell you, my first thing, looking for Saba. So another thing, I was always into my art. So I was into my art through those individuals, you know what I'm saying? So Polite, Malachi, Asir, Alim Bey. There was another that's real into it. The 13th son, and he would talk about and my aunt. So I learned a lot from him, and also studying about the Moors, studying about Noble Drew Ali. You know what I'm saying? His name is Noble Drew Ali, but I call him Noble Jewel Ali. And learning from him, about the Rosy Crusades and all that. And I noticed how he would have a feather on him, and he would have his left foot out. So when I was learning about Kemet, I'm like, oh, so this guy was into Kemet, and learning that him and other individuals, they were one of the ones that was bringing the knowledge of Kemet to Black America at that time. So it made me more intrigued into the Moors and things of that nature. And that's what got me more into my art, seeing the feather that he had on. He had the ostrich feather. There's a picture that he has, and he had his left foot out. So learning about through Kemet, about how the left with the E and the feather of my art, I was like, yo, this is deep, you know what I'm saying? But definitely Malachi was one of the top person, because he showed and proved that way of living. He had the attire, he had the whole pharaoh look. He dressed up as a Tsar. He would have statues, even though they were made out of materials that weren't the same. Like he was relating it to it, and he would speak the language. He would say certain words. Netzer, like the first time hearing Netzer was from Malachi. You know what I'm saying? Nataru, he would call him Nataru. And that got me intrigued. That got me, because he would talk about the Anunnakis, how they're like us, that we are them. And I already knew that knowledge of the Anunnakis, reading from Sakurai and Stitchin. I would read those books. I have the whole collection. They're picking up dust right now. But I was into that. So learning about that, I already knew that we came from Anunnakis, that we were made from Anunnakis and things of that nature. So learning that, and then seeing the Bible, learning that the Bible story really is part of the Anunnaki and Kemetic story and other culture stories. I was like, wow, this is deep, you know what I'm saying? And then learning that Jesus' story is a combination of all these other cultures as well as the same. So the 13th son, I got more into Ma'at through him, you know what I'm saying? That's who had me look at Ma'at like, yo, that's the foundation, that's the law, you know what I'm saying? And I started learning more about Ma'at, doing my own little research and learning from other teachers, You got like Phil Valentine, Bobby Hammett as well. It's just when they would talk about like the voodoo stuff, I was into voodoo too as well, but not like that, because I had friends that had family members that they were initiated into the voodoo world or whatever, and then I had other friends that were into Santeria. And in my culture, they practice more voodoo and Santeria. They put them both together, and even though they're both the same, you know what I'm saying? And learning from other people, learning about orishas and things like that. So I was always trying to put them together with Kemet, you know what I'm saying? So at that time I was in Isfet, because I was a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know what I'm saying? All these different cultures, all these different religions, because I thought that's what you had to do. I thought you had to piece them all together, you know what I'm saying? And from these teachers, that's what they were teaching, you know what I'm saying? Like Bobby Hammett, Phil Valentine, they would teach a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And not knowing that, the foundation is like, my art is, I like that. It seemed more harmonious. It seemed more like you didn't have to sacrifice a goat. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to kill nobody to gain that. You know what I mean? Yeah, come on, man. Because growing up, I would go to these ceremonies, to the to the voodoo ceremonies, Santeria ceremonies, and I would always feel eerie about it. It was like, nah, this don't even feel right, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't drink or nothing like that, because they make people get drunk and smoke tobacco, and so you can get mounted, which is basically getting possessed, and by these spirits, these entities. And I was always like, nah, I don't like this. I don't know about all this. And I didn't really respect it. You know what I'm saying? Even though people around me, they were like, oh, this is real. This is serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't mess around with this. Some real magic. I would look at it like, man, I'm tougher than them. You know what I'm saying? I'm stronger than them. I'm bigger than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see them. What's up? I'm like, yo, Shango who? What? Papa leg, but what? Man, I got something for him. I got this. But that's how I felt, even though I was trying to intermingle with it. I was trying to find a way, to find a peace, a calmness to it. Like Papa Legba, I would look at it like, maybe he is good, because maybe he's just a rebel. Maybe he, what I'm saying, he's evil because he's a rebel, like how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? The Orishas, how they were in captivity, and, what I'm saying, they use spirituality, magic to get out from where they're at, So I try to reason with it. But as I learn more, and the people that I was learning it from, and seeing how they study it, like this ain't kicking it. And a lot of gangs, they use these type of magics, and a lot of gangs, you know, even though they start revolutions and things like that, they more fell off into, certain things or whatever, no morals was there. So I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this, you know what I'm saying? But I still rode with it. Even when I wasn't feeling it, I was still going to the ceremonies. I was still around the people that were doing it. I try to still give it a chance, even though in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, forget this, man. Like, this ain't it, man. This is not what it is, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to reason with them because I understood that, like, through my perspective, it was like this was an ancestral spirituality that we had to practice. But I was always like, I want to go further back. I want to go to Kemet, things like that. What was before Adam and Eve. And, of course, learning from Malachi, like studying little bits and pieces from him, the Adam and Eve story to me was like, that ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Through Malachi is what got me more rooted with the Anunnaki and Kemet. It's what allowed me to stay focused, to look at it like, don't worry about nothing else. Everything else is a distraction. Like, this is the root of it. Like, Malachi basically confirmed for me that feeling that I had growing up, you know what I'm saying, about Kemet. And then that one individual, the 13th son, he's the one that also made me feel like Ma'at is the root, you know what I'm saying? And so as I got deeper into it, after Malachi videos got taken out and I know that he was locked up, it kind of like was dying out a little bit. A seer, I met a seer. A seer was real deep and that I admire to this day. Like, he's I like his style and everything. He's a good family guy, oriented, good morals. I like his style, but the Moors aspect is what I'm not. I respect the Moors, but learning about how you got to go through Muslim stuff, it threw me off. So I'm not really into that like that. You know what I'm saying? Learning from other Moors as well that I met in real life, they mix that Orisha, voodoo, Santeria stuff as well. So it's like anything that mixed that to me was like, nah, that ain't it. Like, you're missing a piece, you're missing a part. So even though I would relate with them, you know what I'm saying, because I already knew certain stories, it was like, nah, that ain't kicking it, you know what I'm saying? That ain't really where it's at. And then as I got more into it, I never really got into reading Medu Neter. I always wanted to. I never got into like reading certain books for Kemet because of individual, the Dawn, the Golden Dawn, these evil spiritualists, Edgar Casey, Aleister Crowley or something like that. So those are evil Satanists or whatever. And I always look at them like they're evil, and they were really known for writing Kemetic books and things like that. Because when I would go to these bookstores, to these occultist bookstores and try to read about Kemet, it would be them writing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, they're evil. I don't want nothing to do with them. I felt like anytime I read, I'm going to be put under a spell. And me not being so attention to this knowledge of spirituality, and I respected Kemet more than spirituality. Like, I respected it so much where I'm like, if I don't get initiated into it, I don't want to try to learn it on my own, because then I can put myself under a spell. You know what I'm saying? I need to find a master that can guide me to this. You know what I'm saying? And learning about Satanism later on as well, more, that's what got me to want to push the voodoo and Orisha things more further away, because I'm like, yo, this is Satanism. You know what I'm saying? Satan, practices like I learned that they write more than the average person. They write more books. So after learning how they're all in the media, they're all in our entertainment, they're all in our knowledge. Um, so that kind of got me like to back off. Like I gotta be careful, be more cautious of what I read, what I study, because these individuals could be all in here and they could be writing certain things to put me under a spell. So I don't want to end up, being on the wrong side. I need to stay balanced because my aunt to me was always balanced. So I was like, I gotta stay in my aunt. So I was always seeking my aunt.
Hotep.
And yes, and yes, and yes, the Hekau really works.
Hotep Atep from Kim, you there, great brother? You're on mute. Atef, we still can't hear you, great brother. Let's get his mic right. Hotep, while the great Atef gets his mic together, Uncle Jasa Neb, Tua, Hinu to the great Dejed, Sadim, Hinu to you, great brother, for putting this together. Let me switch. All right. And of course, Hinu to the great NUK PU. That was phenomenal. Definitely understand you much greater. So Tua for that. And I'm definitely looking forward to part 2. I love how that concluded with my aunt 3 times. So that was Nefer. We'll wait for the great Atef to come back. Let me put the link in the chat for you, NUK PU. You definitely got to come up. So yes, Tuat and Hinu. The support links are pinned to the top of the chat. if you appreciated that, definitely support the House of Atom and the great brother the Jed with showing your support, and I will show that momentarily and give everyone time to support. So yes, dua to Basa Tut, and yeah, NUK PU NUK PU. Hit that link, great brother, and come up to the panel. So yes, Tua, great the Jed for putting this together, and during the conversation, putting animations and bringing a lot of what he was saying to a visualization. That was phenomenal, great brother, and creating the space for someone like NUK PU NUK PU. It makes me it expands my gratitude even further because of a lot of the way that the system produces and manipulates what light is, and you providing a space which is multi-layered to allow stories like that to come through, that are a great example of the illusion of the matrix, creating image to manipulate the masses of people, right? Robbing the artist. And yeah, so tua to you, great the Jed, for the work that you're doing to keep record here. So I definitely want to start there and just give you dua, great brother. And this was phenomenal. So yeah, tua. I'll stop there, and we'll let the greater Tef come in, because and if NUK PU will hit the panel, let us know, great brother, if you can come on, because you have amazing storytelling abilities, great brother. So, but yes, great to Jed, Hotep Henu, Ma'a Karu. Yeah, I'm very thankful, great brother, for your works. So tua, Hotep Henu.
Peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, tua, man, appreciate it. Some work is in. We trying to make it happen. Trying to see what the creative flow. How it presents itself. So yeah, no, I'm excited, man. It definitely gave me hopefully some more good ideas for the second part. But yeah, tua for those words. I definitely appreciate that. It's like how Tef always say, you just kind of learn as you go. When you're watching stage, you're like, well, wait a minute, let me just put this here. Well, this kind of be cool if I layer that there, and it usually happens that way, right? And then but yeah, so it's a beautiful feeling, man. It's a different feeling. So yeah, I'm definitely excited, and shouts out to NUK PU, man, for spending that time to tell the story. Hotel.
Mic check. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Tua, great brother. Yeah, this was fire, man. Henu to the great NUK PU for that, taking us on a ride, on a journey. Tua for sharing all that you did. Definitely can relate to a lot of your story, 100%. Yeah, this was great. I love the, as Ani said, the visuals, bringing the story to life, like some of the aspects of it. I love that. I love the just the fact that you got the courage to change it up, in real time. Because yeah, you right, bro. We learning on the spot, like for real. Hey, listen. I told y'all I was trying to teach my characters how to speak Nadu. It's a process, man. It listen. So two out for like I said, for having the courage to switch your style and try new stuff, and it take a lot, man. For real. What you said? Every 3 weeks, we up the bat. So we got to show forth. So yeah, this was great, man. I love that. I love that you picked Nook Poo for the first one too. Like you could have picked anybody, and it's like this was the. This is great, brother. Is he there? Um, yeah, man. Like I said, when you first created your first primordial vision, it motivated me in a way to look at what I was doing, because I looked at one of my old ones, and to see like the difference in it, like not necessarily the work, but just the way the ideas flow. You know what I mean? It's like you have to be always moving forward in order to advance. I know that sounds like it's like you gotta. It's almost like for me, right? Because a lot of times I be feeling like, man, I don't know how people gonna receive this. Like I don't know if this is gonna work. We'll have these. I don't even want to say negative thoughts, because I'm gonna just call them thoughts, right? I ain't gonna give them that. But as long as you continue to create and move forward, it's like you can't really. I ain't gonna say you can't make no mistake, but from my experience, bro, it's like the stuff that I be seeing as messed up, as man, I don't know if the people gonna receive it. It ends up being great, and it helps my creative flow. So to continue to advance and try different stuff is like, I think that's the way to maintain. That's like Pekka M. Cool, like being creative. It almost like you're shedding. What's up, great brother Nook Poo? It's almost like you're shedding, because what's up, great brother? Peace and love.
Hotep, Uncle Jasanev, Mary Ma, Hotep too. That was never. Go ahead, keep building. I ain't trying to cut your wisdom.
Now I'm trying to communicate my thought process in the creative space, because just watching the brother advance in real time and then relating that to my process, it's like it's never, bro, to sit here and watch the advancement, because we all growing together, and um, I need be trying different programs and switching it up, and the owl style, and it's like in real time, and it always goes over well. So to watch the great brother transition to this style from primordial vision, and it's just an extension of it, and it fits. And I think that you was the perfect candidate to be the first one, if this is the first one. I don't know. It seemed like he been practicing behind the scenes, so I don't know. But I think it's great, man. I love it, and I love to be on this frequency with you brothers, and to be learning and moving forward in real time as the people get to see. Because I promise you, I got too many buttons. I'm telling you, every single presentation, hey man, listen. It's a lot, man. You see, I couldn't even get the mic working just now, right? It's so, but to have the courage to try something new and to continuously, you know, move forward, like, because every 3 weeks, bro, we up to bat. So you gotta have something. So, man, two out to you, Henu, to you for your courage, for your inspiration, your motivation, for picking NUK PU as your first one, and for trying something new, brother, and great, and doing very well on your, first try, man. So this is great, man. I love it, brother. I really do. Then it allows the people to see different perspectives. You know what I mean? Like, they get to see it. They get to see different styles of teaching. They get to see the brothers. We all at different levels. We all being our authentic self. So I think that's real good, man. So two out to you, great brother Henu, for this primordial vision, and I'm honored to stand next to you, great brother.
To that great brother Tef. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man, y'all inspire me, man. Y'all help spark my creativity and present something that's from me. It's an effort thing, man. I'm telling you, man, without this platform, without this Sunday, if this never existed, man, I'm telling you, I wouldn't even be doing this right now. This wouldn't even exist if y'all didn't create this type of platform. And Saba, pretty much blessing me to be able to join you all and to just figure out that, what I have to bring to the table. So yeah, Tua to you, great brothers, man. Tua for those words of Tef. I appreciate you, great brother. Once again, shout out to NUK PU, man. He's definitely has an inspiring story. And y'all only got the first half, man. The second half about to be wow, man. I'm telling y'all, man. And you know what I mean? So that's definitely where you start to get to present time NUK PU. So that second half start to become that, where he is now. And it's a beautiful thing, man. So like I said, yeah, shouts out to NUK PU, man. It was easy having a conversation with him. Yeah. Hey, NUK PU, I told you, man, it takes some time to be doing that editing. Editing that thing gets serious, man. Like that thing, hey, I'm telling you. But it's a beautiful thing, man. I got excited when I was working on it, man. I'm like, yo, this is gonna be okay, cool. So I'm just like, man, let's just keep going from here. And yeah, Tua, man, I appreciate your story, NUK PU. What's up?
Hotep New York, Uncle Jackson Nev, Hotep Natiruman Maat, to you, the Jed, for giving me the opportunity, the honors. That was very nefer. That gave me a lot of sakam. It was like you're gonna have to do the primordial vision, like therapy sessions. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have one of a test for sure. I need, you know what I'm saying? I know he's gonna do that with Saba eventually too. It's gonna be real powerful. So yeah, it was a real nefer thing to do. Part 2 gonna be wild. I'm glad you didn't put part 2 on. I was telling a couple people about that here, and they're like, "What? Oh no, they're gonna shut it down, man." I don't know if you two gonna like that. They're gonna come after us for real. But
Sounds
I'm
like
excited.
The Jet need to do some editing.
Yeah.
Like you said.
I tried to tell him to do some editing on the first one. He didn't do it, but it came out good. It was never. He did his own editing, you know what I'm saying, background editing. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm honored for everybody to be able to watch it, to see more deeper things about me and how I kind of grew up and what got me into Kemet. So it's an effort thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited to hear of everyone's individual pathways as well because it's an effort thing what the Jets doing, because it's gonna open up more opportunities for other people to see who we are and to allow people to express themselves. Expressing yourself is very important. Because a lot of those things I never even told nobody. You know what I'm saying? I kept it to myself. So it's an honor and a privilege to be able to express that, especially here. Nowhere else better than here. Not no therapist for real. Like, nah, I'm straight. No psychologist. Straight to the out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited to hear Saba hear it. You know what I'm saying? When I was doing this interview with the Jed, I was doing it in a way where it was as if I was speaking to Saba. So it was like I said most of the things that I said that I want Saba to know. So it's like this happened synchronizing because it's like something I wanted to do with Saba. Like I did wanted to have a one-on-one with Saba like this, you know what I'm saying? But how Saba's busy and things of that nature. This worked out even better. This is even greater. This is Nefer because not only do I get to share this with Saba, but now I get to share this with Daoud. This is new. Everybody else in the public view they can see. And to take this more serious, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't take this as a joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as my story, you can see like I take this real personal, it's something I always seek, this movement, the House of Atan, and the way everything is flowing is just Nefer is perfect. It's my art. And yeah, man, I'm excited to hear other people get inspired or relate or motivate, through my stories. And the Jay, you did a Nefer thing, man. It's like I said, man, I can what I just seen today, I could just see everybody else's, biography or story is gonna be Nefer. It's gonna allow them to be more at ease, to be more themselves. So I just want to give dua to everybody here, dua to the whole House of at 10 for to even having a platform like this to even allow us individuals to be here and be collective together for one common cause, which is for Ma'at, you know what I'm saying, and representing the Tiru. So, to the Saba, to Hudi Amenhotep Ra, and Kujasineb, to everybody in the House of Atan, keep representing Kujasineb Hotep.
Uncle Jasaneb, great to Jed. You have anything you want to speak on?
Say that again, Patal. What'd you say?
I was asking if you have anything you want to respond with.
Oh no, I'm good, great brother. I'm good. Tua.
All right, Nini Ka. All right, yeah, Hinu, great NUK PU. Tua. Yeah, Tua for sharing. Yeah, we do have a House of Aten Patreon. I think we're gonna have to put the full uncut version on Patreon, so we can stay YouTube friendly, so we can get both. So, but I love it. That's super Nefer, great brother, and yeah, Duan Hinu to you and all of your great ancestors that have walked with you and putting guidance and protection around you and within you, and also recognizing the different aspects of yourself within that mirror reflection process as well, and understanding the connection and the rebelliousness that comes from the twisted image that's always perpetuated on top of the true Aku, and staying true to that, keeping Ma'at at the forefront from the beginning for you, and being explorative and curious and wondrous
and pure, great brother. So Tuan Hinu for your walk, for your satut, and for being here and creating the opportunity for yourself to speak your story and have it be solidified forever in a space where it belongs, right? In my eye, in a pure space, and for it to be received in fullness as it can be received on this planet with anybody outside of yourself, because we're all just reflections of each other. So Tua and Hinu to you, and yeah, your progress and just just all the magic and the heka, and being within that, it's a different type of walk. You know, it's a solo walk. You know, and becoming aware of certain things, especially as early as you did. You know, you're forced into a position to learn about the protection and having to do the things that may seem illogical on the surface, but it's all for protection of what you know is most important within you, and that aku. And you know, the Matrix could never understand nothing like that. And so, you know, everything is backwards, flipped upside down. But with us being able to control the sekem that we achieve, you know, through these experiences, especially the ones that are labeled traumatic, right? That create a shift that we have to make, a shift that we have to make to continue to survive and live, and find a way to continue, right? So the sakim that comes from the transmutation of those experiences and being able to reframe a lot of those processes gives us superpowers, and that's the walk of the netter. And so for you to be able to cognitively create a space of experience, to have that, and to also recall a lot of your outer bodies, a lot of your upesh, and recognizing the connection directly to the netter, it just really shows what kind of vessel that you are to maintain that and to be able to articulate that here for us to receive today. So you training to be a Shaolin master, you to me are an embodiment of that. You walk with that. That's you. You're a netter. So Duan Hinu to you, great brother, Uncle Jasa Neb, and may your continued walk be just as nefer as it has been, and with you being able to do the transmutation that you do and be representative of the blue. So Tuan Hinu, NUK PU NUK PU.
New York.
Yeah, to you, great brother Patah. Definitely appreciate those words. Yeah, we're gonna have to get creative for the second part. We're gonna have to make it happen. Hey man, yeah, it's an effort thing, man. It is very interesting how certain AI generators, they don't let you put in certain things. There was certain segments that I was trying to put in there just to, they'll give me that. Sorry, can't generate that. Hey, but it's a beautiful thing, man. That's part of like learning the programs, man, and seeing what you can do and what you can't do, and I just think every person deserves to have their story told. You know what I mean? Everybody's been through something that's made them who they are today. So, to you, great Patah. Yeah, we working, man. We working, and I am excited for how far this creativity can go. So dua to you, man. Definitely appreciate you for inspiring me, helping me out with a lot of programs, putting me up on things, tools I can use, and letting my imagination utilize those tools and see where we go from there, right? So do it to you, great brother. Hotel.
Nini, a great brother. Yeah, this scribal work that we're doing is we know who we are, so we're just doing it in 2025 and really doing it from a space where we're starting from from Geb, from the ground, and really reestablishing something. So we all definitely have a super Nefer role to play, and with what you're doing really ties a lot of strings together, where we can really see a lot of the things that we already know innately, right? By being able to receive the tones and make actual connections from an unseen space to a seen space. Great to Jet. So yeah, Hotep and Henu to you, and Tua to all of the great supporters who support this and want to see this grow and assist us in taking us further. And you see NUK PU stepping right on up and making sure that his story is told. So dua to everyone who does the things that allow them to come forward and present ma'at. It's just a super nature thing. Dua to the great supporters, and Hinu to Basa Tut, the great moderator, posting all of the links. Go ahead and join the Patreon. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna you're gonna want to get on the Patreon, because you definitely want to be a part of that. So join there. So Tua Basa Tut for posting that. All right, let me.
Hey, Patah, we give a shout out to the new member Jaleel 999, who became a member. Tier Hey Root.
Yeah, Hotep to Jaleel 999. That's one of NUK PU's favorite numbers, so that's Nefer. And I also did see a super chat, I think from Tanya23. Yep, here it is. She did a $4.99 super chat. So Tua to Tanya23 experience. Let me add this to the other side here. And then let me share the screen. Here. All right, so we'll start with Kathy Buys, who sends in $20 for support the House of Aten. Dua, consistent. So Tua for the support to the Kathy Buys. Hotep, Mary to you, Uncle Jasaneb. All right, next we have one of the great moderators, Basa Tut Maka Ox Effect, who sends in 2072 for Dua, the Jed Sajem, and NUK PU for the collab and interview. Ooh, I like that. Hinu. Dua to the great Basa Tut. Oh, there we go. Yes, Hotep Hinu to the great Basa Tut and interview. I really like that. That's a Nefer Medu right there. So Hotep Ma'akaru. I know that you definitely found some powerful gems so far within this interview uh, by Satut. So I know you definitely appreciated this. Hotep Inu. All right, and next we have $2 from a new name, Gavin, who just put a emoji of a scroll of a sesh.
I
So
think
two.
Hotep. I don't mean to interrupt you. I think that's superhero.
Oh, okay. Well, Hotep to superhero. Um,
It's also known as Jinx. As Jinx.
oh, okay. This is Jinx. All right. All right. Yeah, Tua. It's good to see and hear from you, good brother Jinx, and Tua for your support, Uncle Jasanet. All right, and Hotep to the lovely Minty Hotep, who sends in 555 for Uncle Jasanet per Unc Hotep with double ka hands, Ra, double ka hands. Hotep Minty, it's good to see and hear from you here as well. And Tua for your great support and your consistency. I know that your Kepara process is always in effect. So much merry to you, Uncle Jasanet. All right, and this was sent in after the class last week from a Tef, and this is from Amun and Amunet for 2-hour order send a Tef for your dedication and consistency, $10. So dua Amun and Amunet for your dedication and consistency as well. Grace Sinu, Otep Marie. And then here is Tiny23 with the $4.99 super chat. 2-hour for supporting. Great Tiny23. Uncle Jasanet, Hotep Hinu. So this is, let me double check the email here, and I see some Medu. So let's take that, extend that out, drop that here. From T-Cal the DJ, Jehuti and Ra, for always providing value, medutainment. Blick it, 1111. Powerful number. Hotep to Jehuti and Ra. To our great brother. Yes, for coming through and definitely feeling a lot of ma'at, bringing it forward, and Tua for your growth and just for your support and for your studies, great brother Hotep. All right, and let me double check here. I hear something. Do y'all hear that? Like, it sounds like a notification. Do y'all hear that?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay. All right. So yes, here is the Meru, the great supporters for today, August 24, 2025, for the great primordial vision, for the great primordial conversation with NUK PU part one. So let's give everyone a round of applause. Hold up. All right. Yes, Tua everyone. Much love and support. Mary Hotep Hinu. And again, Tua to the great brothers on the panel for all that you're doing, all the works. Houseofaten.org. Everyone, make sure to go get your pathway tickets. Make sure that you're there. You want to be there. You want to be in that building where you see the frequencies, the energies that will be in one space, and it'll only exist where we are. So make sure that you're there, and you're a part of that to receive the great benefit that comes from that pure ma'at. So Pathways to Awakening, October 19th, 2025. And yeah, so great Tefrem Kim, you there, great brother?
Oh, Tep, I'm here, great brother.
All right, I'll pass the mic to you. If you want to speak before you want to close us out.
Oh, Tep. Yeah, I'm complete. Just looking forward to part 2, like you said. Definitely go check out the Patreon. And shout out to the new member. Shout out to you, great brother or sister. Yeah, man, this was great, man. I love it. Like I said, the Jed, keep on moving forward, brother, and trying new stuff, and keep on inspiring us, bro.
To you, great brother. Most definitely.
And new to you, great brother, NUK PU NUK PU.
New York and New Uncle Justin Nev or Son. You already know what it is, man. I'm glad that all of y'all got to hear some snippets of my story. So it's an effort thing. Part 2 gonna be dangerous, man. It gonna all make sense though. It's all gonna wrap up. It all come back together, man. I was never how the Jet did that. You know what I'm saying? Because it got everybody suspense, like waiting, like what's next? What?
Yes, to our great brother. Definitely looking forward to part 2. And yeah, just to our for sharing what you've shared. Definitely one of the greatest reasons why I love this space is because you're speaking from a place of your lived experience, and there's so many people who didn't even know that a lot of what you said is possible. So for those of us who may have more what may seem like fantasy experiences, once it's spoken through a channel of ma'at, of certainty, of no, this is what happened, it opens up doorways of possibility and imagination, which is where the Heka lives. So dua for being able to do all that you have done to get here and use this as a doorway for others to open up their imagination, their superpower. So Uncle Justin Neptune, great brother, and Hinu to the great Dejets the Gem, Ma'at Himti Pauku, for providing this doorway, that's going to echo out in so many different ways, and yes, this ties directly into the teaching on the Atef Netter and what that is, and being the Saba, being a door that opens up portals and leads others to also be able to do that as well, right? It's a beautiful mirror echo effect, and that's the frequency that we walk with up here as men, transformed into Natiru, right, in the physical plane. So dua for all the works that you're doing to provide this space for that to show through. Great Dejets the Gem, and of course the Nefer Tefrem Kim Ma'at. yeah, it's just an effort to stand with you, great brothers, as we continue to move, very structured, and continue to Pekka MQ to properly be able to engage with the Isfet that is ever present. But our numbers continue to grow, even though there's an illusion that it isn't. It's a beautiful thing. So, Hinu to the greater Tefrim Kim, all of the great house of Aten, Meru, the Kuru, and of course Sabatuhuti Amenhotep Ra, for being that primary netter to open the doorway in this capacity, which of course is a continuation in many different ways. The Natiru exists, and no matter how much effort and energy went into trying to siphon out the netter, through it all, there was always still a living consciousness, and being able to use what we have to continue to seep through. The Heka'u is real, and now we're in a very special time where we can tie it all together and begin to reestablish it in its purest form, since a time when the matrix was being installed. So this is a very nefer time. So and Hinu to the great Saba Tahuti for his walk, for your walk, and leading by example. And with that, I'll conclude with the great Medu. Sakim M. Arit, Murder Ka'a, Simu Hatuna Tiru, Pert Ent Hotep. I obtain the power to do what pleases my Ka. May the hearts of the Natiru lead me. I come forth in offering. Hotep Marie.
Hotep, peace and love. Once again, appreciate everybody in there. Appreciate everybody's attention, everybody that was in the chat, everybody who's watching in the future. Definitely shouts out to the great brother NUK PU again. Dua to you, great brother. To the great Patah, to the great Atef. It's always an honor to be up here with you, great brothers, and continue to push the house of Aten forward and standing on Ma'at. Shouts out to our Saba Tahuti, Abu Hotep Ra. Dua to you, great Saba, you and your Naterts. Uncle Jasaneb. Peace and love to everybody. Shouts out to Ma'ut. Shouts out to my Hamed Gabriella for, always handling things, taking care of things while I'm, spending time editing and creating things, and very nefer. So dua to you. Peace and love to everybody. Once again, thank you for watching. May Ra grant you and your family health and prosperity. May your monument be established on the foundations of Ma'at. And may you all rise and come forth as conscious light, like the divine Ra, who rises and shines evermore. I am the Jed Sajim Ma'ahim Pauku. For everybody in the Tiru, Uncle Jasaneb, Hotep and Nu, Nefu Pesh. Hey, look, he trying to get, like, that's that old school right there. We got some new ones coming in too at Jehudi. I'll make sure I post it up for you. I'll show you the whole breakdown. Patah created that for me, man. Patah did that right there.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be a whole nother. You can't ask that at the end of a primordial conversation. But that's a great question, great brother, and the Jet definitely has that. So, all right, NUK PU, give us some nefer clothes and Medu, great brother.
Hotep, I think I need to come back on. The program over here is acting up. I'm gonna get off and come back on.
We can hear you.
Yeah, but on my end is saying it keeps trying to get me out of this program. So okay. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna come right back on because this thing keeps popping up in a second.
Okay. All right. Tef from Kima'at, you there, great brother?
Hotep, Hotep.
It's on you, great brother.
Hotep, yeah, this was a great class, good brother. Tua for your medu. Hotep Henu to our great teacher, Sabatu Hudi Ama Hotep Ra. Peace and love to everybody in the chat, all the supporters. Peace and love to everybody that came out and supported my great brother on Sarnetta. Peace and love to the great NUK PU NUK PU. Peace and love to the great the Jed and his AU. And look forward to more of your creativity, part 2, great brother. Peace and love to the great brother, the visionary, to the moderator, Basatut. Peace and love to the great sister Angela Gate, all the great sisters in the out in the per. Great brother, you want to close out? NUK PU?
Hotep, Tua. Yes, Tua to everybody here on the panel. Ani, the Jed, Atef, the Nefer, Nitiru, Uncle Jasnet, to all the Meru, all the supporters, all Sanu, the brothers, sisters, the whole family of the House of Aten, Per and Maten, Uncle Jasnet, Tua, for being here, being presenting, being part of this frequency, being part of this ceremony, being part of my art, representing my art. It's such a wonderful thing to see individuals wanting my art, living my art, to the Nefer Saba, Nefer Tuhudi Amenhotep Ra, for guiding us, cultivating us into this true culture, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a Nefer thing to see Saba, because this is part of his creation, you know what I'm saying? To see it manifest, and then all individual have that same kind of mentality, same kind of inspiration, aspirations. It's a Nefer thing to see come to life, being that we are representing something that's real, something that's true. I can only envision, all Nitiru representing, being proud of what we're doing. It's a real Nefer thing. It's not like, it deals with a lot of imagination, like how Ani explains, but that imagination is, realization, the truth, you know what I'm saying? It's like kind of like getting in the zone, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're writing music, you're painting, you're creating a project, you're playing basketball, you have to get in that zone. And it takes imagination, and then, that possibility opens up, the opportunities, and, you start manifesting, and then miracles, the Hekau really works, so it's really Nefer, man, to see all this come about. We got the ultimate Hekau, master of this earth right now, which is Saba. So it's, it's a Nefer thing to see, man. And, and shout out to you, Ani, for representing Sarnetta as well. I was Nefer. A lot of Isfet was going on, but this time it was more controlled. You held it down a whole lot, so that was Nefer. It was good to see that Saba did walk away, for them to allow to focus on you, bring that smoke to you, and to show them that you can handle that. And then for Saba to hear it and, witness it, and, be satisfied with what you presented and how you handled yourself. That was real Nefer. I didn't like how that guy was talking about Saba, with the serpent. But, I personally would have let him just keep talking, because, like, you just burying yourself, you know what I'm saying? Your heart's going to explode the more negativity you bring towards us. So it is what it is. But, yeah, it was real disrespectful. And I'm glad that everything was, Nefer, Sarnetta, was gravitating to it. Everybody else, it was more, this time when you came back in, it was more acceptance, you know what I'm saying? Like, people expected, they already knew what was to come from you. So they expected that Ma'at frequency, that high professional level of, high level intelligent information presentation put together properly. So it was good to see a lot of people, were accepting, they already, like expected, high level information. So it's never, and I just see it growing even more. Like you say, you're in the momentum right now, just keep it going. And you know what I'm saying, you gravitating to the people, even though they may not come over here, at least they know who you are, they know who Saba is, and now they get to know who we are through you representing. And that's an effort thing. I'm excited to see that. I mean, the frequency out there, it's real ISFET, but definitely when you was doing your presentation, you definitely was changing the frequency, and I can see that being completely changed soon. You know what I'm saying? The more Saba come around, the more you come around, the more that we as a unit come around, representing my art. That's what's very important because, like the Jet was, had to shout out them as well, let them know like in the house of at 10, we don't do what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? We're disciplined. We're in my art. And for Tef and the Jet to be up there and not say a word, not even try to cut in and nothing, like just there like statues, you know what I'm saying? And just an effort thing to do. Shows a lot of discipline because, a Tef could say something real quick, and the Jet too, like it ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? And they held it down. The Jet held his tongue until the last minute and had to put the smackdown on them and let them know, like, listen, man, y'all a bunch of kids. Y'all ain't knowing it like that. But it was a disrespect in a respectful manner. So it was never. I admire seeing that, and I'm just excited. You know what I'm saying? Because those that have true eyes can see who we are. The matrix beings. The disagreeables. They're just gonna always disagree, and they're just gonna keep proving us to be who we are. I seen the pseudo Junk West jumped on the comment talking junk, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm excited to see him when we on Sonetta and, Saba's on the panel. I would love to see him jump on the panel and, what I mean, see him catch a heart attack and on live. You know what I'm saying? That'd be nice. But to Uncle Justin, to everybody here, to everybody in the chat, everybody watching, everybody live, watching live in the future, support, you know what I'm saying? To everybody who supports Uncle Justin Neb, Saba, you already know what it is. And Uncle Justin Neb, to and I'm going to finish off with my war cry real quick. Sem Hotep Meri Ibnu Churu Ma'at Nuk At Ker Em Kat Ah. I am without evil in my body. Septukua, I am wealthy. Aha ah Sekem ah Kesef ah Meret ah. I rise up, I gain the power, and I repulse the evil which is against me. Behen ah Sebau. May I crush the evil one. Se Hetem na Apep em Atef ma na. May I destroy a pep at his moment. Sakur na shimi. I have overthrown the destroyers. M Sauk. I have came that I may be protecting thee. Makeru, Makeru, Makeru. Aka Ua Kurt FMF. Hotep Meri Nitiru Ma'at. Uncle Justin Neb.
Hotep, very, very, very Nefamadu, great brother. To for that. And I definitely echo your sentiment and everything that you said, great brother. So Tua to you, and Hotep Inu to you, great brother Dejed. Again, this was very, very, very necessary. Brick by brick, you already know how I say it. And with that, we will close the way we began with our Nefa affirmation. From today's class, hearing is beneficial to a son who willingly hears. For when what is heard takes root in the hearer, he who has heard will become one worthy himself of being heard. It is good to hear, and it is good to speak. But he who can hear possesses what is advantageous. Hearing is beneficial to the hearer. Hearing is better than everything, for through it good affection comes into being. Unki and Ma'at, Un NS, Nintet or Set and Ma'at, Min Hepapet and Ma'at, Her and Hu Kui, Per Ikut. I live for Ma'at. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light.
Forget that we the real champions around here.
And yes, the Hekau really works.
Yo, let's go.
Shed. Closed my eyes, then I woke up back in my bed. I could see my room as clear as looking through a lens. See, I thought I was awake, so then I tried to move, but my body shocked me like I was plugged in a socket. I started panicking and scrambling within my mental. I thought I died and now my body, I'm forever locked in. I was screaming, help me, someone help me please. But there wasn't any sound making it through my teeth. I could see movement in motion, shadows gather around me. How could I close my eyes already closed. Eating alkaline at this time, fasting Rizzo shocking. I was stuck in a paralysis, fear had me froze. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. I finally started waking up and coming back. I was in the opposite of state's effect. That's relaxed, I grabbed my phone and started to do research. Knowledge of what happened, I was in a lack. Insidious, the movie came direct to mind. Every time I've seen this, it was connected to what's not divine. Demons crawling forcefully, holding the body down. Ain't no point in trying to scream, you will not make a sound. Deep within, I knew I made that a reality. The all is mine, I saw it, and so shall it be. I start replacing fear with knowing universe is mental. Talking to my subconscious to wake me up in dreams. Then one day my spirit guides came in so essential. Daylight's astral playing loud in my dream helped to set me free. I'm back in paralysis, laying on my couch. But this time I was calm, ready to exit out. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. From what I read, I need to move my arms in front of me. See a rope and pull it, separate and then release. Now I'm out, I see my house is gleaming, I accept it. Looking in the mirror, staring at my car's reflection. I was so ecstatic, flying in every direction. This was months of subconscious reprogramming and redirection. Place my thoughts in my body, wake up, that's what I did. I was reborn from that day so I could start to live. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed.